And there we are. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Wooly. How are you today?
Doing all right. Well, I am back on this side for the moment. Um Entire day in a car yesterday. A little bit brutal, but you know, you get used to it. Um
I have a stupid question.
mhm.
What with your new kiting enthusiasm and your long trip car ride, have you had the thought on a long stretch of road of what if I just put one of these motherfuckers out the window and see what happens?
I have, and actually Punch Mom suggested it, and the immediate thought at which it would basically be a twisted metal weapon to destroy the trucks behind us
Yeah.
did not encourage me to push further. Um, that though I did have a week, I did have some stuff, but I definitely would like to start with something that I'm finally ready to announce that I've been working on for some time now. I am happy to reveal, as of right now, I just tweeted out a link to the project that is completed. The second channel that I've created on YouTube is now available. It is called Wooly versus the Algorithm.
That's a really good idea.
This is a channel focused on enhanced highlights, shorts, little bits and pieces of all the hours of content that we record on a regular basis. This is going to be compressing them into short and sweet little bits, enjoyable, definitely the type that can be posted to TikTok as well, certainly. And yeah, all the juicy morsels that we get from the hours that we put out, condensed into some hype shit.
You
Quite
know, it's
simply, there's
funny.
a link out there on my Twitter. You can check it out. Second channel, please subscribe. Unironically, smash that button. All that shit. Wooly versus the Algorithm. Available now.
That's a great goddamn name. And it makes me think well, Woollyverse, by the way, is like a excellent name for any type of. I mean, you slap anything at the end there.
Cheers.
But it makes me think of. I remember a while ago, we were talking about the way you were running Woolly Verses and the way I was running Pat Staresat, and I'm just dumping fucking archive bullshit all over it, which you then described to me as a algorithm annihilating practice, which you didn't have any issues with because you were putting out, standard LP size episodes. But this is the one step further. Is like, what the algorithm wants more than a half-hour long video is a 90 fucking second video. And
Yep.
now your primary channel is algorithmed out to 30 minutes ish.
Hours, actually.
Yeah. They've been getting longer, huh?
Yeah,
Because of
yeah.
the Elden Ring.
Hour on average, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, that's exactly it. And not only that, but like long form stuff, variety stuff, all of that has been completely, yes, algorithmed out over the years. There's been ages and different focuses on what it cares about and what it doesn't care about. But one thing's for sure is the type of what I have is like basically a variety show, and the era of the variety show on TV has died, and it's that kind of thing with
Boy,
this,
boy has
you
it.
know. And that doesn't mean that it's not like that doesn't mean that it's not something that is viable. It's just that it's not something that grows because the
Mm-hmm.
algorithm doesn't want it to grow. But if you're happy with the audience that enjoys what they're watching, they can continue to watch and enjoy that, right? It's just not going to show you to anyone new. That's the main thing.
I also have to say, I'm like super pissed off, like insanely, violently angry because I was like, I should probably do that. And the name was going to be really similar. But you got there like probably like 6 months ahead of me.
That's
So now I
interesting.
have to now because like that channel I have, man, I ruined the fucking data on that thing. I fucked that thing
Uh,
up.
yeah, yeah. No. I am quite satisfied with that name. I'm quite satisfied with the
No, I'm not gonna call it Pat stares at the fucking algorithm, you hacks! You
No,
fucking
but
hacks!
the goal is for anyone who's like, oh, what's the point of the Oh, it should be clear in the name what the point of the second fucking channel is.
Yeah.
You should immediately understand. Shout outs to Soul Carl for delivering on some fucking slick ass art. Lee Mounsey, of course, on the logos, and then we got Gianni in there on the trailer as well. So take a peek, and from now on, basically every couple days, and multiple times a week, there's going to be little shorts coming out. And the first one is live, which is, I believe it's called Satan is Excited for the New LP, and it's me and Reggie getting started in Dead Space, as Satan has a few things to say about that. So,
you know, I have to say, your opening channel video being "I will defeat this hell site." No, you won't. But it's a good effort nonetheless.
An attempt is being made. But yes.
God, real weird week in terms of algorithm, actually, to talk about. Because, like, YouTube, it's kind of been, like, a known quantity. It's like, man, like, do you remember, oh, God, do you remember the day they moved from views to minutes watched?
That was the first big one.
Because that was cataclysmic for everyone but dirtbag LP channels.
Yeah. That was a humongous
We rode
one.
that wave for years. That was so good. Sorry about all the animators that got killed through it, but yeah.
It actively, like, changed... Well, that's the thing is, like, it changed the type of content that became popular, you know? Like, early shit was just, exactly, it was just views, didn't matter who or what or where or when, for how long.
And then the React face titty preview pic
precisely
destroyed that meta.
Annihilated the shit out of it. Just get a reaction out of somebody. And then you go right into the change from overall views to the watch time, and then a let's play becomes a fucking darling of the algorithm.
Hey man, what if we made a big playlist, and then the playlist got up in the algorithm, and people just put it on, and then just walked away because you can't tell if they're actually watching it.
So
and then
people
they just
people unironically do that on Spotify for, like, artists when they make a new Tay Sway song drops. All the Swifties go and start looping the song 24/7 on their phone without actually listening to it, because the plays on the streams that they get are the new numbers.
Hey, I have to... this is side aside, but, like, I don't know at what point in my life this happened, but, like, pop music fans, which is, like, at one point in my life used to be, like, the average person, all became insane people. Like they all, like, they went from, like, my mom and dad listened to the radio to Stans.
I disagree. I would say, because, like, remember Stan existing from fucking Eminem writing the song,
right?
But even before that, I mean, listen, I think if the girls that were screaming at Elvis and the Beatles had Twitter,
that's true,
you would have seen fan cams. They simply
true.
didn't have that access, you know.
You're right. You're right.
But yeah, the algorithm is going to do what it does, and I will not defeat it, but a valiant fight will be had, and we'll see where this goes. Probably to a Yamcha style smoking crater with my corpse splayed in it.
Luckily, my slow ass can now just watch and see if this works for you and decide whether or not I should do
Let's
it.
See
also,
what happens.
It's gonna work.
But here's the magic is that at bare minimum, at bare minimum, if it completely doesn't, at least it can be dropped wholesale onto TikTok.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Recycle that shit. Let's go. Rinse. Yeah, so no,
By the way, before we continue, people listening to this live on the date in which it's airing, next week the podcast will also be live on Tuesday and probably come
Correct.
out on Wednesday.
Yes. Um, that being said, I would have preferred to have kept that secret so that I could nefariously laugh and continue to stare at my maps. That would have been the plan.
So, like, that's great, except we universally, every time we delay it, completely forget to inform anyone until half an hour after the podcast is supposed to have started.
I do my best on most occasions. I happen to be in a car in shitty, spotty Wi-Fi zone the entirety of yesterday.
What, you can't update us from the gas bay?
Yeah, well, thanks to, Gaspé Z. I mean, it was rough, and like when I could get a little bit going, at least at the initial parts of the drive, I was planning for this channel. I was, communicating for this launch. So, anyway, we're here, we're good, it's fine.
Congratulations, by the way. I'm sure that channel will do extraordinarily well for you. It also gives me a chance to actually watch all the clips that people tell me I should watch.
There's that. There's certainly that. Yeah, and it's a value add, no bullshit. Plus, enhancing the clips means it's more than just highlights. It's a little bit of fun happening with the edits too. So it's not just if you've seen it. It's new stuff as well. But in the planning of this and everything, I was also, like I said, out in New Brunswick. The area I was in, more specifically Nouveau Brunswick, because that province is also very French Canadian, about a third of them.
Yeah, it's a different flavor, though.
Mm-hmm. It's Acadien.
Less spitting.
And it's interesting. Oh, well, I mean, there's still a good bit of that. But what's interesting, too, is the timing of being there, because I was there, like I said, to meet some in-laws and do the rounds and so on with lot of the the Belle Province like employee flavor of person.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean like my fucking family?
Yeah. I got to meet a whole bunch of those. Pleasant time with the Maritimers. Now, the thing too as well is pushing my French to the absolute limits of my ability. Yeah. I was using 110% of my concentration to like sit in the dining room, big French family conversation going on, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm keeping up, right? And then they're like, oh, look who just pulled up. It's the trucker and his best friend, double trucker, who just walk in with trucker son, and they just go, ah, wait, qu'est-ce qui se passe, my bit, yeah. You're just like, oh fuck, it's gone.
Ça va bien, merci. Okay.
Salut, enchanté.
Ça va bien avec vous? Yeah.
Ah ouais, nice, my butt. Bows up.
See, I'm lucky. Everyone in my family that would speak like that is fucking dead. Like they're long fucking gone. So that awkwardness is past me.
And it's the we've talked about Quebec Boomhauer, but it's like it's a little bit of that going on, but just ultimately I'm just dying. I'm like I can't. I did my best, but I can't. And fortunately, it wasn't just me. Like even Punch Bomb is like, yeah, no, it's brutal. Like when we get to the real like Booney style version of it, it gets hard to understand even if you are French.
We've made our own language out here. It's based off of fishing and booze.
Yes, and it's called Chiac.
Oh, seriously?
Yes, it's called Chiac, and it is a patois. It is a derivative style, which I
don't have time for good book words out on the fucking boat at 4 a.m., man.
But every once in a while, like a word like book would show up in the middle of a French sentence, or parquet mon car, and just all that stuff is
Man,
in full flux.
I'm out of Quebec, and I spent an entire fucking generation of my life fucking going to school and learning how to fucking speak French. And every French teacher it has to be this, and accent aigu, accent complexe, accent grave, vous devez utiliser un imparfait ou plus que parfait, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I walk down the street, and some fucking old man is going, oh, hey, où est la parking?
Yeah,
and it's like, I'm glad that I'm learning this fucking language so that anyone I actually interact with just butchers the shit out of it.
You gotta. There's a couple tricks that I pick up on the way. Just call everyone chérie, when you can. Just to get that across, term of endearment, and regularly drop c'est succès at the end of or after a moment of a lull in the conversation. Just a little thigh slap, and it is what it is. It
is what it is.
C'est succès.
Yep.
But what was it was really good time though. Honestly, like that area of Acadian New Brunswick is really beautiful. It's the type of thing that it's the kind of like small town living where a lot of people who come from there retire back there when they get to old enough, because it's just like everyone's got a dock in their backyard and a big waterfront boat. Everyone is going out clamming or fishing or just you can drive into town and do your business, or you can kayak into town and put your boat on the dock and do that and then kayak back. It's that kind of spot. There's just like all these like funny things too. Like I've been hearing over the years about the traditions. Like in this one city in particular, Tracadie, the tradition of the up and down is like basic. It's where back in the day you would go down to the big old mall, the big old parking lot at the top of the big street, and just park and watch and see who comes up and who goes down the road, and that's how you pass time. And if you see somebody,
people watching, but the rural style,
because there's one place to be, and know where if you're going to be doing any business, you're going down that main road. So you just set on up and you watch and you see who comes, and if you see someone else doing it, then you go, oh hey, and then you sit together and then you do it.
I mean, that sounds chill.
Actual King of the Hilling, Yep. We did get to enjoy. What was really nice was basically the seafood is, as you would imagine, quite fresh, quite good. I go for seafood here and there. I don't like avoid it that or anything, but there's a lot of times where you're just like, if it's bad, it's bad. You don't want to risk it in some cases. And some of the worst food poisoning I've ever had was because of bad shrimp.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I was quite pleased when, one of the dinners we had with the family, just a tray of lobsters sitting ready to go, and I'm just like, oh shit! Like, I've had lobster, usually kind of like semi-cracked open with the tail ready to go, and then the butter on the side. Most of the
lobster I've had is like lobster incorporated into something else.
Yeah, that worked. There's a lot of that too, like a lobster roll, is a big thing, or a bisque. But even just when it's served up, like a lot of places in town or whatever. If you go to like Red Lobster and get a plate, I'm sure you're getting like it's already kind of split open and you've got the butter and all the trimmings and whatnot. Here, it's like butter optional, and also it's kind of like served like cold. It's not even really like a heated up thing, and I was like, whoa, that's what?
Strange.
It was very strange. I mean, it certainly wasn't bad. It was still good lobster, but it was just like, here, we take them, we shove them in the oven for a bit, but like for the most part, like after that initial like broiling and boiling, you kind of aren't eating it like really, really hot. And I mean, I asked for butter because I'm like, this is good, but it would taste so much better with butter. That's kind of it's the deal I have. I mean, it's one of the main reasons I'm interested in like any of this shit to begin with. But like, yeah, just grabbing 2 of those. And I don't know, have you ever like worked apart an entire lobster from completely like shelled to get in your meat? No?
I'm sorry. I had something ping up on my fucking screen. I was reading it. I was away for a moment.
Oh, okay. Have you ever had a lobster fully shelled that you ate?
No, never.
Okay.
Actually.
So
I've never been to Red Lobster either.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, I've done the bit about how much crab meat takes work and how annoying it is, yada yada. So, you know, not to even go down back just that path, but in this case, like I was pleasantly surprised by you know, I've done this a couple times before, but in this case it was fairly easy to do. It's one of these things where you just kind of look at the whole lobster body, and I never realized that like you kind of are, when you see like lobster tail, that's kind of the only part you're eating, and then you're getting the claws, right? The whole body front part and then head part is more or less disposable unless you're into like getting into like the eggs. And you know, if some people are like, oh, it's like, you know, people who like eating chicken bone marrow, there's people who like eating the eggs, but for the most part you're just getting the tail and the claws. And
I don't know, eating the eggs right out the lobster just seems like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a squeamish little baby. I don't know.
It is. It's. I had some of them, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's just a gunk kind of pasty vibe to it. I like the white meat. That's good.
I'm big on texture, so gunk doesn't really appeal.
But you just got to make sure when you pull the tail out and you learn how to like clip, and yank it, you got to strip off the back and make sure that this particular lobster, fresh as it may be, hasn't pooped itself or had any poop in there ready to go, because
you may die.
Well, you won't die, but it'll be really nasty.
No, you would die.
So, I mean,
from running into traffic and getting hit by a car with the distaste of lobster poop in your mouth.
I mean, the auntie-in-law who was prepping them basically went like, oh, when I was a kid, I had some and, you know, accidentally didn't clean it out. And it wasn't the end of the world, but, you know, the knowledge is not nice. Certainly.
No.
No. So make sure to check your crustaceans for the inner poop before you consume them. But yeah, you know, and it is admittedly something back in Grenada too that like kids would do is you'd catch crayfish, which is kind of like, you know, like shrimp like small little halfway thing, and then there's like langoustines, which are the other in between as well.
I don't care for crayfish. So you remember how I'm like terrified of lobsters? Like I'm like absolutely terrified of lobsters. So my dad thought it'd be a really good idea to cure me of my fear of lobsters. That one day he came home from fishing with his buddies and had found a gigantic bright blue shrimp that had one of its arms torn off, and was like, hey, Pat, come out of the driveway, and like gave it to me like it was a puppy, and was like looking at me like like I had lost my mind when I like hit the wall, and was like, get that away from me, get that away from me, get that away from me. And just like, he's like, oh, I thought you'd get used to it and then you wouldn't be afraid. And I'm like screaming and on the verge of tears. And he's like, okay, whatever.
Every like pre-80s parent that just thinks that like the rawest shock exposure therapy is gonna be the way to get over. Are you
terrified of dogs? Here's a dog.
Here's a room full of them. Lock the door.
Like,
yeah.
No,
I mean,
don't care for crawfish.
I mean, for me, it was always a thing though, where like, you know, the kids would catch them, and because I'm not eating any like, you know, non-biblical foods, non-kosher foods at that point, I just never
in the Bible,
just never got to have seafood. So, yeah, technically, it's anything of the ocean that does not have scales.
I have to really point out, I'm gonna this has nothing to do with anything, but you mentioned a tiny phrase that makes me insane, like legit every time I hear it. Um, which is vegetarian. Well, no, I eat fish. Fish don't count. Versus seafood, but you don't mean seafood. You mean non-fish seafood.
Yes.
Why? Why is the terminology around fish so fucking stupid and
Very
exclusive?
weird.
Like
Yeah.
the flesh of a fish isn't meat. Then what the fuck is it? Grains?
So my mom was like that. She's like, I'm a vegetarian except for fish. I'm like, okay, so you're a pescatarian, you know. But like, I guess that that you just there's more accurate words you can use. But when you say I eat fish, you mean fish, and when you mean I eat shrimp and clam and whatever,
No, it's just
you
the
just say
bigger
seafood.
one. The bigger one is like fish isn't meat, which makes me like have a conniption. I feel like my head's gonna pop off. I'm like, what do you think meat is?
I
Like a
exclusively
lobster's
eat,
got meat.
I exclusively devour capybara. That's my seafood
that's right.
diet.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, you're getting no, that's crazy. That's fucking insane. But all the seafood I've had though that is like like more crustacean type. I've kind of noticed that it's like it really is in a lot of cases about the topping, whether it's butter or the like a mussel or with like a red wine or vinaigrette or something. But what was quite cool as well was we were staying in a little chalet kind of house on the waterfront, and because these small towns are fucking they are what they are, small town living, small town maritime population.
Yeah.
The person who was like renting out the Airbnb was actively a like second cousin of Punch Mom's that was like, oh yeah, okay, well no, you're related to this. Oh yep, had this ancestor in common,
and
going back.
And that's why at a certain point you have to move away, or else it gets real
squirrely. Yep,
insulated.
No good.
Yeah.
I think I told the story about the guy who's the genealogist for the Acadians in New Brunswick. He does a full family tree for everybody, and based on your test, when
he says if you have to leave town or not.
He says basically if you don't have at least an attachment 5 generations back, it's free. So he knows essentially that there will never be people that are from here that are not at least going 5 generations back. I think that was the number. So pretty fucking wild on that. But yeah, the place we were staying, the dude was very, very, very nice. And he was basically he in the morning time he'd go out and grab his little shovel and rake, and he just he'd just go digging for clams, and he did that. He was climbing, that was his thing, and then he's like, hey, you guys want some fresh clams? And I'm like, fuck yeah. So got to enjoy like that as well, which again, the way they do it is very little preparation, just a little bit of fire and then pop them in your mouth. And that was quite nice. I enjoyed that too. I've again rarely had it so raw, but between that and that time, the best fish I've had being like right next to the airport in Jamaica. Just family that fishes it out of the water, throws it on the fire, puts it in foil, and hands it to you. It's like, no, I'm a believer in this now. Like I've been convinced.
Yeah,
that,
I have to say, so the night that we stayed in Montreal before we made the big trip, we had a big sushi platter from a fancy sushi restaurant in the area, and it was all right. It was a little overpriced, but it was okay. Then we come all the way out here to the West Coast, and within a week we go, oh, let's just try. Let's just pick up some fucking sushi. It wasn't a Sushi Express, but it was like the fucking like sushi fucking mart, like just absolute like shittiest possible name, hole in the wall sushi place that was like dirt cheap, and we're like whatever. And we're sitting there going like, oh, this is like 100 times better than any sushi I ever had anywhere near the East Coast. Like fucking like it's to the point of like don't bother eating sushi at all unless you're 50 km from a coast. Just
It's
don't.
yeah, it's I
Don't
mean
even bother.
like the freshness adds a quality to it that is like you can still be lazy with the preparation of the food and
Yeah.
get away with it because the freshness will make up for the lack of effort you're putting in, you know?
It's really like I knew it was gonna be better because we're closer to the coast, and I had sushi in Japan, and that was obviously excellent because no
Mm-hmm.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, oh, it's literally just the distance. Like that one extra day of shipping, like kicks it up from a 7 to a 9, despite it being an identical dish.
Yeah, dude, like there's a feeling that comes with like ordering some sushi. Like I got like a platter here and put some sashimi in my mouth and like the or nigiri and like the fish is cold because it's still frozen and I'm like fuck off,
Yay.
man. You
No.
you cut the salmon into squares and then had it pre-frozen and the frost is still on my tongue now. Like that sucks, dude.
That's awful.
Uh yeah. So
I don't care
um
for that.
no, so I'm on a bit of a seafood kick, you know. I almost never I barely ever do pasta ever these days, like literally like maybe once a year, but had some linguine with scallops and shrimp in it from over there because I'm like, yeah, you got to do it while you're here. You got to do it. And shit was fucking incredible. It was great, you know? So look at where you are on the map and use that to your advantage. Because, yeah,
Like,
even
for example,
the mediocre becomes
like
great.
like if I'm not going to swear off bagels, right? But I guarantee you, every single time I bite into a bagel for the rest of my life, I'm gonna just go, yeah, this is bullshit. This is
Mm-hmm.
not like a real bagel, which is
Mm-hmm.
one of those things that people in Montreal and NYC get to do. Just
Mm-hmm.
be just complete fucking pieces of shit forever about it.
Yeah, no, it's you get to be one of those people, or you know, like oh, you have a Philly cheesesteak, but is it from Pat's or is it from the other one? I forget which one. There's the racist one and the
Yeah,
not racist one, or whatever.
it's
I don't know,
it's funny because like I'm thinking about
Geno's or
chicken
whatever.
wings. I'm thinking about chicken wings, and I'm thinking about you and I sitting next to each other. Sitting, were we next to each other or across from each other at Anchor Bar?
I don't
Um,
remember.
but everybody else got like completely reasonable food because they were told it was spicy, and they were enjoying their Anchor Bar wings. And me and you are just sitting there going like, I want the second highest, and you go, I want the highest, and they bring
Mm.
us our wings, and we're biting into them. And we have about 5 minutes of like, wow, these are incredible, followed by 20 minutes of just staring at each other
Mm-hmm.
and sweating more, and everyone else going, "Are you guys okay?" And we would like, it's good, it's spicy, it's good.
Yeah.
Those are
Um,
incredible buffalo wings, but
you gotta when you
no one's ever going to serve them to him like that anywhere else.
signing a waiver before you eat them.
Is that real? Do we do that?
No, but they do that. They do that at the place on Crescent that has like the super ghost pepper wings or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's just like at that point though, it's like it's not even a good sauce. So you're like, it's just burning you, but it doesn't taste good. I'm like, that
Yeah,
sucks.
no, like, yeah,
You
no.
gotta have flavor on the fucking wing when you're going super hot as well. Anyway, so yeah, seafood kick is going good. Jumped out on the water, got to boat for a little bit. That was a fun time, and you know, I'm still kind of hung up on my bad kayaking experience, so I'm kind of like
Yeah.
not super down to kayak, you know, ever since the fucking near drown. But
Well, I mean, I would not blame you for that. Drowning is an incredibly unpleasant experience that activates that primal fight or flight, don't do it fucking emotion.
yeah, no, I am indeed shook, but
Like,
But I've also like gotten really comfortable with the water, and I can swim and do basic level 1 lifeguarding shit.
It's the specific. Like when I was a little kid, and my parents were like, "Time to learn how to swim." I was like fucking terrified. I was absolutely fucking terrified, but I couldn't tell you why. And then I later found out, many years later, that before my memory started, I was at one of my mom's friends' house, and her slightly older child kicked me into the pool, which caused me to almost die.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's about right.
And like, well, that explains that complete nightmare feeling I got learning how to swim. That explains that a lot, actually. Huh. Weird.
I jumped in myself as a dumb kid, but like, no, the involuntary launch into the water is that's early trauma you're not going to get over too easily. So, nice. Something to note about the Acadian side of Canada, the French New Brunswick, is the only other place I've seen, like, that fucking flagomania Americana spirit. Like, you can never have Stars and Stripes too big. If your entire house is draped and we can't get inside because there's a giant flag blocking the way, that's perfect, right? It's
adorable. It's adorable.
Insanity, right? So this place is ridiculous with it. They will anything because they've got the red, white, and blue, and then a yellow star. And anytime you can get those 4 colors together in any way, like literally, there's people that are just like, dudes like, I've got one of the uncle-in-laws is like, I had a red boat and my neighbor had a blue and a white one, so we just parked them all together, and then I'm gonna paint a star on it, and that'll that'll be that.
That's cute.
Little electric poles, fucking
that's cute.
Everything everywhere at all times is this flag. It is a wild level that rivals America for patriotic spirit of the Acadian flag.
I had no idea that New Brunswick had like a provincial identity that was that strong.
So it turns out that, like, historically it goes back to like Upper Canada, Lower Canada shit, right? So like when the British were stomping out the French,
when my grandpa was stomping out my other grandpa, yes.
Exactly. That area of Canada was called Acadia, right? It was its own like province kind of zone that was like the Acadian, one. And then like it got broken up into Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, the Maritimes in general. Well, as a part of their whole like, fine, we'll let you keep your culture, just don't get too rowdy about it, bow to the Queen and all that shit, and whatever they fucking said.
And then they could continue to just fucking not.
Yeah, but that kind of goes back to that time. And then of course there's the pathway south that goes directly from there to Louisiana, and Nolens and all that. So that's where Acadian turns into Cajun, right? But they got the wild flag mania going on up there, and I can report that at least one day was spent in search of good winding spots, good kiting spots.
I would imagine there'd be plenty out on the East Coast.
So I've learned I've learned the dark side of kiting. It's finally kind of sunk in. I thought that this would be something where I'm like, you know what? I've got some time. It's a nice day outside. Fuck it. Let's just go, right? That's kind of how I've been playing it. But the dark side is, it's not just that you're looking on like the wind map, which I've subscribed to for like the best spots or so. It's that if it's not a particularly windy day, The really cool professional kites, like the good shit, you cannot fly at all.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So the whimsical little pizza flying kite I was using, or even like the whale, right? Those are things where it's a single line and you can kind of go out and like if you're getting a decent gust, you can just throw it up there and have a good time. But now that I'm getting into the real shit, the two-handed full control, where you need to run to make up because when you're holding with two hands, you don't have a reel anymore, right?
Yeah.
So you can't tighten the line. You have to make up for it with physical movement. You've got to sprint backwards or forward, and if the gust is not consistently strong, you can't fucking launch at all. So yeah, that's the sad part is like now that I'm at this level, I can't just go out whenever I want and get a good kiting session going. I have to
I've
wait
gotten
for
too
them.
good. I don't get any enjoyment from low wind situations.
I'm now in that mid-range. That mid-range where you have to wait for the right opportunity. It sucks.
I'm glad you were able to somehow bring over the experience of being too good at fighting games to play with your friends to fucking flying a kite. Good job.
So now, right, when I see a windy day, it's not up to whether I want to or it's like, no, you have to take this chance because you don't know when it's coming again. Similarly to like, oh shit, there's a monthly going on. Well, fuck, I'm never going to get to go play against decent competition for now. Got to get down to your locals. Like it's really hit that point.
Yeah, that's way worse though because the wind is like metaphorically, historically, literarily, culturally fickle.
Yeah.
It's the most fickle fucking natural element.
And I'm looking for like the big one I'm launching. Like I want to get practicing because it's gonna take a lot. That needs like consistent like 10 mile per hour winds or like 16 kph. You know, so we were looking at the wind chart, and I was checking the scuttlebutt to see what people are saying about the area and whatnot, and there was one spot we found that was the windiest possible spot, and this is at the tip of the bottom lip as described, all the way at the tip. There's a lighthouse and like an open kind of beach area, and it's ocean. It's just hard Atlantic coming at you. You know, and like you can't possibly hope for a windier situation than that.
I might have asked a variation of this question prior, but now that you're describing the lighthouse beach, I have a fairly stupid question to ask. Let's say you're way into flying the big kite, the one that needs the extra wind. And I remember you describing that those things, and you're a pretty big guy, those things have some pull if you catch them right. I feel like we're in a scenario in which the likelihood of you like hurtling off a cliff has increased to more than 0%.
Okay, this is true of the so there's three big kites that I have, right? There's three classifications because I have a couple smaller ones, but of the let's call them fucking large class, dreadnought class kites. is that gonna
sure. Let's call them that.
of the giant class kites I have, there's two of which are trainer kites and one is a delta. Now, the two trainer kites are essentially, they don't look like kites. They look like small parachutes, right? Mm-hmm. And those are the ones that will pull you off the ledge, pull your body all the way, because the reason why they're called trainer kites is because they're for training when you're kite surfing. So when you actually try to get out on the water and do kite surfing, you're going to have something similar. These are for land versions of that you want to pull you, that should be able to support your body weight, because when you're out on the waves, that's exactly the goal. So you can get a good like flight and control system going with those two, but the one I'm working on that I really want to get good with is the Delta, and the Delta is it's a large triangle, and you can attach like a super long, like a 20-foot tail to it, and make it do like spiral tricks, and you can basically like draw in the air, you know, by having it go whatever way, and then the tail will follow for 20 feet. And that thing it's not strong enough to really pull me because it's not like the parachute kind. But if it gets really windy, I'm gonna need to drop my weight back on it.
Yeah. Okay.
But the place I was going with the lighthouse, it was not a lighthouse to a cliff drop. It was a lighthouse to a beach down sand into the water directly. So at worst, I would get pulled into the beach water and not over to my death.
But that's the cold ass Atlantic.
It is, in fact, the cold ass Atlantic. Yes. There are a lot of people that were on the beaches were not in the water. They were just enjoying the sand and sunlight.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a map you can actually look at to see like where the Arctic water goes directly, and then it comes this way, and then it does a big circle and goes back up towards Europe before it warms up. But we're on the fucking super cold side.
It was literally yesterday when I found out that the Pacific Ocean is substantially warmer than the Atlantic Ocean. Did not know that. I thought water's water, man.
Yeah, no, it's a huge difference based on just like the go look at the arrows that show you the flow of like the entire Pacific and Arctic circuits, Pacific and Atlantic circuits. Like you can see how it comes into tropic areas, or it comes into like, you know, like larger populated areas on land, and then it warms up, and then like does a big tour and goes right back out into the middle, and then again it gets cold as it hits the top or the South Pole, right? So yeah, you don't want to fuck with that. And I saw the other end of this exact trajectory from Iceland on that beach that literally claimed lives when people turned away from it because the sneaker waves would come up and get you, because there's nothing stopping that wind from the top of the planet all the way to this, you know, fucking patch of sand. Like,
yeah, that reminds me of the temperatures out in fucking Calgary and Edmonton, like, get so low that they fucking break recording instruments because the wind chill gets so nuts because there's nothing to stop the wind for like 400 kilometers. It's just rolling plains for literally more than you could drive in a day.
Yeah, there's like videos and short little like studies on like the effects of what happens to the human body when you live in like the coldest parts of Siberia, and like literally like the coldest places on the planet that people are like regularly living in, and just like blinking is a concentrated effort. That is a thing you can't just rely on your regular blinking. Like you have to, you know, anticipate blinking even faster and more early because of the frost that builds up on your fucking eye. It's nuts, man. Anyway, we were made for some environments and not for others. But all this to say that it sucks because I went to the fucking ocean front and still couldn't get some good wind, and it was a bad week for it, you know. So yeah, the dark side of kiting, it's not up to you, you know. It's up to the wind itself, to Fujin, and when Fujin decides, that's when you have to get ready to go. So I'm gonna have the kite like kind of just ready, and like if I look and it looks like it's a good time, you gotta kind of just run out and get it. Almost like there's a couple hobbies like that, right? Like where you don't get to plan where and when, you just have to be ready to do it.
So there is surfing. Obviously, it's going to depend on whether the one that that I'm most familiar with is astronomy. Is extraordinarily weather dependent, not just because of clouds, but you want the opposite of kiting weather, because more turbulence means more air shakeup, and certain parts of the world have what's called good seeing. Which is just the air's just a slightly calmer,
less light pollution,
a little bit
from nearby cities.
Yeah.
That's
why they build the ground-based telescopes out in the ass end of fucking nowhere in the middles of deserts and shit like that.
Bird watching as well, which there were some
Yeah.
binoculars that were in the cabin that we were in, and yeah, you kind of just like, if you're into bird watching, you gotta just be like, oh shit, I think there's some stuff going on, pull over and just do it, you know. So I might have to have, like, unfortunately the Delta cut I have like folds up really nice, but I might have to just start walking with it as a you never know when kind of
Well, I
accessory.
feel like I feel like the simplest solution is to have like a window right next to your head that you sleep next to, and you plant like a flag of choice next to it, and then every morning when you wake up, you just go, is it blowing or
I've
not?
got 3 flags in my view from where I am when I wake up and take a look outside. Right, there's some skyscrapers that have them, and they can tell me how fast the wind is blowing, and they can also tell me whether or not Canada's still at half mast. Because yeah, that was that was a while. I think they're back up to full mast now. You know, thereby indicating that all the native children's bodies were found. Right, so mission
I'm sure
all
there's more.
over. Well, then the flag will just have to just, you know, the more you, yep. Um anyway, no, it was yeah, okay. In case you guys, there was, last year we talked about this some
Oh,
time
do you?
ago.
Oh, they don't
No, they
know.
don't know. They don't know. All right.
Oh no.
Every once in a while we float up here on our smug Canadian, like, haha, look at America, you guys are so goofy, or a nice big fucking hot reminder of the bullshit that our history contains comes up, and in this case it's the buried bodies of children from natives residential schools back in the day, which
Yeah.
were
So
the schools that were made to quote unquote kill the Indian, save the man.
yeah. So I don't know. You probably had a extraordinarily different experience with this because you're obviously a black guy. But I remember a couple, second tier relatives, friends of the family or whatever, that I'd be going in history class, and oh, the fucking smugness, the absolute just intense smugness over, oh, you're learning about how the Americans had the slaves, huh? Oh, what a goddamn disgrace. Oh, that racism shit is blah. And then these same people would not piss on a native guy if he was on fire, and would just come out with the wildest shit I ever heard in my fucking life. But that's different.
Not the same.
That's different though.
And you know, furthermore, because it was pushed by the church, you get to kind of chalk it up to God's will as well while you're at it, right? Snatching
Yeah.
babies from the hands of mothers to shove them in the schools and essentially completely deculturalize them is it's what the church wanted, so it's fine, you know. Anyway, so yeah, for a while there, they kept finding them, and the amount of graves found, the dirt that was being dug up to reveal them, like the wind from that would travel all the way across the nation of Canada and drop every flag to half mast.
Yeah.
And just when they thought maybe they could put it back up, another burial ground would be found, and then it would drop again. So they kind of just kept it there for the
So
entire year, really.
I don't know if our non-Canadian viewers remember, but when the Trudeau got caught with the blackface, the absolute funniest part of that was a reporter asking him, Trudeau, sir, how many more of these photos are going to come out? And the response was, I shit you not, I
I
don't know.
Yes. And the follow
It's,
up question that the reporter asked was, "Can you round up to the nearest 5?"
yeah. So it's like that, but with dead kids instead of blackface.
Just like that, you know. But ha ha, you silly Americans! We superior Canadians laugh at you from up here. Muh. Anyways,
Well, you know who you can really blame for that. That's
mhm.
right, the British.
Oh well, there's a consistent through line on all that shit, I suppose.
Which is the one half of my this is my favorite part. The one half of my family blaming the other half of my family both ways for everything bad that has ever happened in the country.
Yeah. Although they get to say though that technically, England ended slavery there before it did in America, right?
Yeah.
They get to hold that little point up.
That's a technicality.
Oh God. So kites. Good fun.
Yeah, kites, huh?
Good fun.
Well, that's
and now
fun.
we're back. Yeah, so obviously, I was up to all that shit. I didn't really get to do anything else. So that is pretty much just all I did. Gonna be jumping back on Dead Space tomorrow because that needs a session currently a bit more than Mass Effect does. So tune in for that, as well, of course, as Wooly versus the Algorithm, which is also, I'm gonna put a little trailer at the end of the episodes. And sorry for the first batch of them. They might jump scare you at the end of the video because the Capcom versus SNK theme just kind of fucking jumps in there. But that's the plan. We're going to get some Dead Space tomorrow. And then I'm gone again. Off, more going on and family and wedding things. Yeah. Gonna be out for a friend's wedding. Go to this Twitter to get the schedule on what's going on, and then on Tuesday we'll be back next week for the podcast again, and then I think a normal schedule as well.
Huzzah! It'll be all normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating to me that you're playing Mass Effect 2 and Dead Space simultaneously, those specifically, because those are sister games by the same publisher in like the same 18-month span.
Yeah, it is interesting timing. And one of them is like aggressively doing everything it can to kind of like shed its RPG roots to become a shooter, while the other one is like also a shooter but it's trying to stop being a shooter. It's trying to aggressively be like, no, it's more of a cut and run.
Let's say you play Dead Space 2 or even look at 3. What you will see is that what's happening to Mass Effect from game to game also happens identically from Dead Space from game to game, which is the same thing that took a much longer period that happened from Mirror's Edge from game to game.
Okay.
But there was no second Mirror's Edge game. We went right from Mirror's Edge 1 to Mirror's Edge 3.
I mean, that is like yes.
And Fear. People point out and Fear did the exact same thing.
Now, I feel like based on the era, this is the type of franchise as well that would probably have a hard time resisting, like, shall we say,
Dragon Age. I just
Prince of Persia-ing Isaac.
Yeah.
So he's just this quiet guy for now, and I don't know what's up, but like that face you're making makes me think that it doesn't stay that way.
What do you mean by Prince of Persia Isaac exactly? What is the description?
Well, we all know the handsome, dashing, fun little prince that shows up awkwardly in Sands of Time, and he makes quips and talks about the baths and the princess.
Yeah.
No, that's not what happened. And by the end of it, you're like, that was a charming little fun adventure with a fun protagonist.
Yeah.
And then when it came time for the sequel, we had I think what was essentially, in my memory, is a series of penny arcade comics, really. About
what it is, my memory is Godsmack going, stand alone!
and steel thongs riding up the ass crack of whoever that lady was. And smoldering rage. Generic smoldering rage.
Yeah, so Isaac doesn't do that.
Okay, good.
No, but Isaac does change in the second game.
Because
which in a way you probably expect.
Okay, because there's a thing that people can't fucking resist. Companies can't resist is like, yeah, like just game 2. It's now time to turn this into the cover of a fucking Fabio novel.
That doesn't happen in Dead Space 2. The only thing that happens in Dead Space 2 is that they talked about it before the game came out. They're like, listen, it was gonna get Dead Space 2 is a way bigger game. We were running into real problems going through the whole script without Isaac speaking at all.
Okay,
it was legitimately like fucking weird that he interacted with all these people and never spoke once. But like he's exactly the same character and he's good. It's just like he opens his mouth.
All right, fine. There's circumstances where the story is about the hardening of a person. So you can understand how. I don't know, like. Shit, I just had an example and I lost it, but certainly not Jak and Daxter. That's the opposite.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, no, not that.
You had an animal sidekick character whose only purpose was to speak, and then you start the second game, and Jack's just like, "Oh man, but now you still have the sidekick character whose job it is to speak."
Yeah, I mean, I know that in Tomb Raider 1 remake, like she goes from being scared to more like confident towards the end of it, but there was an example I just had and it's gone now. Of like the character having an attitude change based on the events happening throughout that game, and there's a way to do that, but you don't have to go full on sequel where they're like, now I'm an edgelord because that's how we market this.
That was the aughts in the early and late 90s. Ow, the edge-og.
Yeah, I mean Lester the Unlikely. We talked already about like that, being the origins of the character. Growing hard over the course of the adventure, but yeah, damn it, I had an example in mind. Oh well, whatever. So yeah, Dead Space, we're gonna be picking back up on that. What's going on with you?
Well, I have a good news, bad news situation. Which would you rather hear?
Bad news first.
Okay. I lost my fucking wedding ring an hour ago. Right before sitting down on the podcast, I touched my hand and was like, oh no, my fucking wedding ring fell off my hand.
You made a noise that I have never heard you make before.
Yeah.
It was a like chest kick noise. It was the air exhaling.
Yeah. The good news is the reason why is I lost a couple more pounds and it fucking just fell off my hand at some point this morning.
That'll happen. Yep. Good job. Congrats.
Fell right off the hand.
You're going to have to get it resized.
Assuming
I don't know
I find it. I didn't fall. It didn't go down a drain.
I mean, like I said, for me, the first night I went to bed with it on, like I woke up and it was off. So,
I feel profoundly.
Possible.
I feel unclothed right now. I feel like legitimately uncomfortable without my wedding ring on.
It is entirely. Just make sure it's not within Zangief munching range, and you should be okay.
Well, he wouldn't eat it. It's not actually food.
Well, yeah, but what about a pen cap?
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
There's ink in there, which is food. There's a logic.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
There's a logic.
Sure.
So speaking of which, just a quick update. The dog had an upset tummy over the past couple days. We took him to the vet. He's on medicine. He's sleeping now. He's doing fine. There's nothing in his stomach. There's nothing in his butt. Just got a little tummy trouble. He's all fine. As we pamper this dog like a person, and we're cooking meals for him. No, the dog didn't eat the ring. I lost the ring like an hour ago. The dog wasn't even in the house when I realized I lost it. We tried to put pants on the dog.
Yeah,
didn't like the pants.
Well, I was gonna say that a lot of like ring places will also do like a cleaning and a resizing service, for you. if you
No,
include it.
no, that's definitely going to happen now. Assuming it's probably in like the bed. It's probably like under the bed or something. Let's see. What else did I do this week? I did not hit the gritty with Goku. That just happened.
Is that what it's called? The gritty?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I see a meme on the thing, and it's like
Look,
Vegeta
man.
hits the gritty and kills Rick Sanchez, and then dies, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
There's a video of someone in midair jumping off of a Nimbus and doing a Kamehameha in midair in third person, and I just remember the days of like that's all I ever wanted from video games, and then Bid for
Yeah,
Power was going to deliver
yeah.
that. That was
So
a
play
time
Fortnite, you fucking loser.
I will not.
By the way, if anybody wants to buy Goku, make sure to type in the fucking supporter creator Pat stares at.
Oh, there you go. How many V-Bucks you
Yeah,
get?
I don't know.
Cool.
I don't think I'm allowed to say, but I also don't know. So what's weird is Rumbleverse also has that exact same feature
Oh yeah.
because it's through Epic.
Right. True. Yeah, I know that they have like private. There's like a private server mode during the demo that you could initiate if you were one of the like accounts that was like an influencer account they were working with or whatever. But I don't know if that
Yeah.
persists into the full version.
No, it's there. Like I punched in my own name on the thing, and it's like it works. Hey man, not much to say other than man, Rumbleverse and Multiversus, the new Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds situation.
Mm-hmm.
Can't stop fucking it up. Can't
Welcome to
stop.
me 3 weeks ago.
It's fucking terrible.
It's awful. Yep, real bad. Rumble versus.
Especially since they're both fucking great.
I saw that clip of the double relaunch SPD.
Yeah.
Solid kill.
That's everyone's like day one clip because it's like, well, what happens if I bounce on? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and then it reminds me of a comment I got on the tweet, which was like, it's going to be good when the compression starts to fall apart on the clip.
Yeah.
Because that third spin where the extra sparks come off, you can't make fucking heads or tails of that.
So I hope so. I'm sure you can see now at this point, but it's just like what feels really good is just like a lot of people don't have footsies. So if you have a semblance of footsies, most exchanges you're gonna just be lethal. Kind of like someone that can aim versus someone that can't, right?
Yeah, that first day, like I'm finishing top 10 like every game, but that first day was like free win city. Just give me the win every time. Like you're guaranteed to make it to the final 5 for like the whole first day, and then you're fighting against like 2 real people, either bots or I just mean like people with brains.
Because the first time, remember, like we have it on video, but like remember first time playing a Souls game, thinking about it as if it were any other third person game. You just run up to like things and start swinging at it like a beat 'em up, and it's like that is not at all what you do to win in this kind of game.
Like
it's the instinct that people have from every other game.
Like noob annihilator is get a knockdown, walk towards them, then walk away. They're gonna do the spin.
Whoop.
Knock them down, walk towards them, and walk away. They're gonna do the spin again. I had somebody mentioned I won one of the games with like 13 kills, which felt like that's probably the best I've ever done in a battle royale. And it's like, wow, because it's not a gun, because it's not like shoot you from a distance, can't see the person, it has created this like a more attainable situation where you can dominate every single person you encounter if you just get the population and the right perks.
Yeah, if it's a fucking melee with 5 people just slamming around, you're gonna get hit from the back, and it's not gonna be perfect. You can still die in when there's too many people around and it's unpredictable. But in most clean exchanges, when you're confident enough in your skills and your ability to just like, no, I know how to fight someone one on one and like outthink what their first and second options are going to be. That means if you isolate people, you can do well. What's interesting I found is again, I haven't had a time to touch the final version, but in the beta at least, that means that like your what are they called, the perks that you're building up as you fight, those are for the final four, right?
Yeah,
whatever setup you have going,
they're of minuscule importance on the way to the final ring.
and in the final ring you're fighting other people that also know how to fight and who also have footsies. And okay, now it's time for you to make use of stand and heal idle while you hide.
Yeah. So
You know?
I discovered some fun things about that. So I play the short, fat character because by far the closest to my real body type, and discovered that there is a multitude of bushes that body type can stand in and just 100% disappear from the game,
Mm-hmm.
and heal up to full over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no physical difference between any of the body types, which makes that body type right now the meta body type because it's the only one that can do that.
That can hide at that size.
That can hide in the shrubs.
Interesting.
I had a very... So, by the way, those perks you mentioned...
Mm-hmm.
So, if those you don't know, in Rumbleverse, when you do damage to people, you eventually earn perks like a second hit on your dash attack, or a wider spin attack on get up, or
Passive
heal
healing
when you hurt people. That solves the number one battle royale problem. The number one battle royale problem is you only want to engage people as a third party. You want to kill them, loot them, run away, get good stuff, and hide until you can fight the final 5 or final 6.
Camping will be a valid strategy. Yeah.
I found that in games where I fought my ass off all the way to the final ring, I was way stronger than some of the people I encountered in there. Like, way stronger.
It's incredible because, like, even if you, like, let's say you actively camp, which is, like, you are not engaging in fights, but you are still hunting down HP, stamina, drinks, and, like, making a build. You can still max out your build, have a pocket full of chicken, and 2 rare moves. But if you have no perks and you don't know what the fuck you're doing in the final ring, you're going to get crushed.
Yeah, you run into a situation where, like, okay, I'm all juiced up, and on paper, I have the same moves, and I have the same everything as the guy I'm fighting. But the guy I'm fighting has the perk that normal hits give you 40% more super. So he's going to get... When I get my second super, he's going to be on his fucking third.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of the world.
Game changer. Yeah, they and like also like having super having regular utility. It have resurrection or fast activation as well.
Yeah.
Works into that metagame too.
It's been a while. Somebody had to point out that super also has fast activation without knockback.
Yes.
Which is
flash grab.
Which, like, hit them with the stick and then super them, and there's just fucking no escape. They can't deal with it.
It's super sick. So yeah, that all of that is basically like you are incentivized to engage and to win fights and to do damage. And the more you fight in battle royale games, I mean, by fighting other people, you get their equipment, right? In this case, you're getting passive perks in your build that'll just actually give you sustainability because that final 4 is when you really have to be on top of your game.
Yeah. So I played shit like Warzone, and I played shit like Fortnite, and I played stuff like fucking PUBG, and it's like 2-3 minutes in, you sneak attack somebody, and guess what? They just happen to grab everything that you would have ever wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Every item, every healing item, and they're fucking stacked, and you got them. What possible reason would you have to fight anybody ever again until you absolutely have to? You're just gonna waste your good ass resources.
Yeah. No, it's very smart of them to do that. And because it's Epic too, I'm kind of wondering with just to bring it up again, the art style. Do you think that like from their point of view, they're like, hey, this other battle royale that doesn't look like Fortnite, sure, we don't want people having a game where people have realistic proportions and it seems too close?
I have to disagree. I think
Is that
maybe it's
a
because
thought?
it's using the Unreal Engine. I think it actually looks very similar to Fortnite, like it's being made by the same like idea. It's just ugly. It's just like it's a bummer, but it's like it's legitimately ugly.
But like how Fortnite's art style is like it has a specific look to it, but it's also
Yeah,
pretty
video game
like
Pixar.
video game Pixar, and people are still gonna have somewhat standardized proportions. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure if you count them up, they're standing like whatever 8 heads high or whatever the math on it's gonna be. Yeah, the thought I'm wondering is just like if that if could it be that just like you don't want another game that's like, oh wait, is that Fortnite? No wait, it's not Fortnite, but it's also an Epic game. Could there have been like a feeling that like the more distinct this other thing is, the happier they are with it? I don't know, but it just it it can't be landing on deaf ears that it's like multiple people are just like, oh god, this art style, oh god, like it has to be the number one thing they're hearing about at this point.
Yeah, they're not going to change that.
No, of
That's
course not.
everything.
It's committed.
Everything about the game's presentation is slick, but hideous, and it's a bummer. It's not Nidhogg.
No, 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 no. It's far
It's
from.
not. It's
But
just
the fact that it's
plain
enough
to underneath.
the fact that it's enough to keep people away from what is a very fun game,
Yeah.
sucks. So
So
I think about that.
that leads into my first impression of the game when it proper came out, and I was very trepidatious because I played a couple games and I was like, this is incredible. This game is absolutely top shelf. This is going to have I'm going to play this a lot for a long time. Wow. I am very worried that it is so ugly that people are going to ignore it wholesale. And the reason why I am feeling that is because, within 4 or 5 hours of it going live, I'm loading in and it's taking 5 minutes to fill up a lobby with 40 people. And I'm having this Anarchy Reigns flashback of no, 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 not again. It's so good. It's so good. And then I go on Twitter and I see Rumbleverse support going, these servers are getting fucking crunched, boys. Calm it down. There's like 1 million people playing it at 8 a.m. And I'm like, oh, oh, thank God. Okay. Oh, suffering from success. Oh, Jesus. Lord.
Free.
Yeah.
Free 99. Why not? We'll see how it shakes out in the long run, but yeah, that is always a just the massive advantage to not watching your servers dry up is just like, fuck it, let me try this out. Multiversus as well is I see there's some stuff going on there we'll talk about.
There is. It's good.
So
that's my experience with Multiversus this week.
Okay.
Still good.
Okay. Yeah, I want to talk about some of that. So let's take a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll get into what's going on with that.
Do you mind if I do a quick bathroom break first?
Sure. BRB.
See you in a bit.
Cool. So, yeah, let's just get the sponsors going. This week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by Stitch Fix. Those were the folks that wanted to make you look good. They want to improve your sense of style and overall just, make you feel better because you look a little better and people treat you a little better. You know, the other day you put on an extra accessory. You put a hat on the other day.
Yeah. I don't have my hat right now, but I did have it.
Well, you got to use accessories like, there's a tactic to their placement. They can be part of your branding after all.
That's true.
And in general, you can do a lot better than the shit you throw on your body on a regular basis. When you're going to buy new clothes, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not the only one. There's many people that get stressed out. It's time consuming. You don't know what's going to fit. And even if you try it and it looks cool at one point, maybe you put it on at home and you try it out again and you're like, no, and then raw. So all
the
that
different mirrors, man. It's the different mirrors.
You know, the mirror at the store was a slimming mirror. It was fucking, it was a funhouse mirror. You thought you looked good in it. And you don't have perfect lighting surrounding you in every situation. So, enter Stitch Fix. Basically, whatever your style, whatever type of budget, Stitch Fix is going to get you a step up to your look. So you basically do a little quiz to fill out what types of style you want to go with. Again, what your budget is, what you are partial to. And once you set up the profile and answer a couple questions, they have some expert stylists. They'll go to work looking at what works for you, what suits your style preferences, body type, all of that, your sizes. And they're going to send you a couple of different styles that fit for you. You get 5 pieces. You can keep what you love and send back what you don't. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are easy and free. There's no subscription required. You can try it once. You can set up automatic deliveries, but there's no hidden fees ever. So you can sign up and get the latest season's pieces as well. Men, women, kids, everybody. Augment your style. Sign up today at stitchfix.com/superbeast to get $20 off your first purchase. That's stitchfix.com/superbeast for $20 off your first purchase. Limited time offer. Purchase within 2 days of sign up. Thank you, Stitch Fix.
Thanks, Stitch Fix.
This week, the podcast is also sponsored by Honey, and Honey is the one about the money.
I like those things.
In particular, saving you money. Now, you don't want to pour actual honey on top of your money. That would be really gross.
No, that's a terrible idea. You ruin the taste.
It would also be like the least harmful thing that's already on that money. I mean, Jesus Christ, physical bills I haven't used them in a while now.
I use them every now and then.
It's just, you hear those studies about what's on them and you just, but although we have at least
a $10 bill is no worse than the handrail on the metro.
Yeah, which I dodge aggressively as much as I can. Also, I don't know why multiple places don't use. You ever come across a door that has a foot opener where you use your foot to open?
Pretty rare.
It sucks that it's rare because they're great. You'd think the pandemic would have spread those things out, but we didn't get more of those. I want them everywhere. Anyway, the point is money's disgusting, but you still need it. And saving it feels good. So Honey is going to help you save that disgusting money that's going to feel good when you see it in your pocket. And the way they do that is by helping you when you're shopping online. So you don't actually have to touch it. There you go. It's digital money. It's a little less gross. Or could be more gross, depending on what you're shopping for.
You put the honey on your money, and then the honey money sticks to you, and you get to keep more of it when you use the honey. This metaphor doesn't work.
You pour it directly into the USB port of your computer, and then the savings immediately start rolling in.
That's how it works.
Don't do that. When you go shopping online, Honey is basically a tool that's going to scour the internet for promo codes, apply the best ones that it finds to your cart. So wherever you're
Really
searching,
good idea, genuinely.
Yeah. Whether you're looking up tech, whether it's fashion, clothing, all types of tech gadgets, even pizza, food, they are compatible with tons of sites across the internet. And once you get to the checkout, the little promo box is going to appear for promo codes. You click a button that says apply coupons, and within a few seconds, Honey's going to search for the coupons it can use on that site. If it finds a working one, you'll watch the prices drop, and that's all there is to it. As simple as that. I know that these days as well, when you browse tons of basically there's tons of places where I'm going. I've been looking for manga in particular because I've been on my kick with picking up Trigun and Berserk and all that, and some of those prices can get quite exorbitant when you put them all together. Shipping to Canada as well can get pretty brutal. So that's the type of thing where you'd want to save whatever you can. It doesn't just work on desktop either. It works on your phone too as well. Activate it on Safari on your phone and save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could straight up be missing out. After getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid in supporting the show. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/superbeast. That's joinhoney.com/superbeast.
Thank you, Honey.
Thanks, Honey. This week, the podcast is also sponsored by Factor. And Factor is about meal delivery on a busy schedule, getting you meal solutions if you've got an on-the-go lifestyle. Whether it's a quick lunch at your desk between meetings or a fully prepped dinner that you didn't have to worry about chopping or prepping or cleaning up after.
Oh, okay. I got it. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, so depending on your needs, if you're looking for fast fuel on the go and you need a number of satisfying meals that you can, use if you want to reach a goal of, let's say, like you want 30 grams of protein or more, they're hitting that. They've got as well 30 plus meals a week and 33 plus add-on options. So there's smoothies, juices, snacks, and more to keep you going. Gourmet meals for eating at home when you feel extra special. Yeah, you can customize, and they're super flexible. You can change your order up every week. Plans from 4 to 18 meals per week. Pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Factor meals will save you time, keep you satisfied. Chef-crafted recipes are packed with the good flavors. So,
now I'm hungry.
Yeah, they've got options as well, whether you're going vegan or veggie, protein plus, keto, calorie smart, cold pressed juices, smoothies, energy bites, extra protein, veggie sides, whatever your preference, they've got you covered on that. I'm getting pretty hungry.
Yeah,
too.
It's bad reading these food ads because now I'm big hunger.
Well, so I have the problem of actually like waking up and not properly like eating a breakfast like a normal person.
Yeah.
This gig has kind of made me wake up, get some caffeine in my system, and then almost immediately just start recording.
Yeah, I had a situation when right when we got here where I don't know if it was circadian or whatever, but I'd be like 2 days, and Paige was like, "Do you eat anything?" And I'm like, "No." Weird. And then I would crash. Then I would crash real bad. But right up until that point, I'd be like, "No, weird. Not hungry at all. Strange."
Yeah, no, that sucks. Now, that being said, I being up in Canada, currently they don't ship up here, but some Factor was shipped to a friend in the States who did report enjoying, in particular, the flavor they had going for Tuscan shrimp.
That
So
sounds nice.
yes, as a person in the middle of a seafood kick, that's a flavor that I'd be down for. But yeah, that was one of the preferred flavors there as well. And again, smoothies if you're doing a smoothie diet, or if you're someone who likes to get that a meal replacement going or something like that for your calorie count or whatever it is you're wondering about. Strawberry banana smoothie as well are recommended as the two solid ones that she enjoyed. So, with that said, the thing you want to do is go to head to go.factor75.com/castle130 and use code castle130 to get $130 off across 6 boxes. That's code castle130 at go.factor75.com/castle130. Okay. For $130 off. That let me try to.
Oh, that code makes a lot more sense when you say it's $130 off.
Yes, let me try to spell that out a little more clearly. You can get $130 off. The website is go.factor75.com/castle130. Then you enter code castle130. Then you get the $130 off across 6 boxes. There you go. Thanks, Factor.
Thanks, Better.
And last but not least, this week the podcast is sponsored by Cha-Ching Spotify.
Hey Spotify, what's up? What are you listening to?
The cha-ching sound of a sale on undo, Control Z, rewind. Let's try that again. Last but not least, this week on the podcast, we're sponsored by Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Cha-ching is the sound of a new sale on Shopify.
Boy, I sure do love Shopify. It's my favorite similarly named service.
I like the English language and my tongue and saying the correct thing at all times. I like taking my time reading and being very particular with my words.
Enunciation is a long and complex process that you go through your entire life.
Indeed. Now, let's say you were in the business of teaching people how to talk properly.
I am.
Yes. You might think, oh, I'll just get started and do that. But before you know it, your business will upscale. You're going to get new demands. You might even need to start selling t-shirts. We got dumb video game videos and podcasts going on, and then we had to suddenly start selling t-shirts and had to figure out what's going on with that. How do you do that? I don't know. I know how to make a stupid dick joke and find bugs.
Yeah,
I don't know how to deal with the merch side of things. So that's where Shopify steps in, because they're giving you the resources you need. The stuff that was reserved once for big businesses can now be available to you. It's real simple to set up, sell everywhere, synchronize online, in-person sales, stay informed on what's going on, and just manage the entire storefront of whatever it is your business is upscaling towards. So Shopify powers millions of businesses from first sale to full scale. You can reach customers online across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integration and apps. That includes Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Again, synchronize your online and in-person sales. You're going to get insights for any growth and reporting on conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. All of that stuff, if you are starting up a business, is super duper important, and Shopify can help you power that. So go to shopify.com/superbeast, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today Go to shopify.com/superbeast, all lowercase, right now. One more time, shopify.com/superbeast.
Thanks, Shopify. I love you and shopping.
Thank you. All right. Blah, 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 blah.
It happens. It happens. Hey, before we move on to news, there is one other thing about my week that I wanted to talk about because it's so strange.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of funny. In the same week that you have decided that you're going to do your second channel, which is obviously a great idea, I said fuck it and just decided to watch a viewer-submitted batch of YouTube garbage as a variety show, which made me laugh because earlier in the podcast you said the variety show is dead and gone, and I'm like, yeah.
So that in reference to offering you yourself a variety of content. However, what you are describing is not a variety show. You are becoming a React Andy. And
what is the genesis of that term?
I think it might have been started by Hassan Piker. I'm not 100% sure. I think Hasanabi might have started it. But you're a React YouTuber that's like, oh, making the faces. Oh, you know.
Oh, it was Germa? It was Germa that did it?
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I've heard it coming through the internet meme tube, but yeah, you are the content. You are consistent. What you're watching will change, but it is not a variety show because you watching something is still just the overall framework of it. You understand?
Yeah. So, Wooly, you know how like the whole time we've done this, I'm like, man, I don't get watching LPs. I get making them, right? I don't get watching, etc. Right? This is by far the most baffled I have been by anything I have ever done in content creation ever, because so this was user submitted, and then I skimmed them to make sure they're not pornography or graphic violence. The shit that my audience submitted was straight garbage, like trash, like legit complete like shit. In most cases I wouldn't have even bothered to watch on my own.
Okay,
right?
Now the nugget of entertainment though must be found somewhere within,
right? And it's chatting and hanging out and all that. But what gets me and kind of hurts my feelings a little bit is that I'm watching a guy's YouTube video about visiting every rainforest cafe in the United States on one road trip. And I'm like, why would anyone make this? Is anyone enjoying this? And I look down and I'm hit with a full 1,000 bonus users from the Witcher stream I had done the day before. Literally my most popular stream in like 50 days. And I'm like, I don't know what people want anymore. Is this what the kids want?
Wait, as in 1,000 more people than the Witcher stream?
Yeah.
I see.
More than double.
I see.
And I'm like, I don't know what my job is anymore. Do you guys just want to watch Public Domain Columbo episodes for a year? Is that what we want to do?
Wait, double?
More than. From 7 to 17. I'm going to send you a fucking screenshot of my fucking analytics.
Okay.
I'm going to send you a fucking... Oh, so upsetting.
Okay.
Look, okay? Fucking bullshit. Okay, Wooly, here's a fucking screenshot of my fucking analytics for the past 10 days.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Now here's the thing, right? You got to make sure, is the first one a novelty? What happens when it settles in? Because the first one can always be a novelty.
This is the second one I've done. The first one was not even as popular as this one.
The algorithm, huh?
Like it's it's like I don't get it. Is this what it felt like
right?
for animators to watch LPers put out the most low effort content ever and just rack up those algorithm bucks?
Well, look, you said it might take you some time to stare and see the results of what my second channel is going to do. I'm immediately taking these results and stealing them post haste, right forthwith on the podcast one time before everybody and God.
Yeah,
we'll watch some dumb shit.
Look forward to 2 weeks from now. The Woolly Media Hour.
It's just that, isn't it? It's just that.
And also,
but you know
Woolly,
what?
like follower view time. Fucking every analytic is up accordingly.
It's been that from day one. I think it's just been like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Well, here's the thing. There was the Kitchen Nightmares era, right? And the Kitchen Nightmares era was people like Hassan and Pokey and people that are so big, there's no threat to them. No matter what happens, there's no existential threat. No matter what copyright, no matter what legal thing. And I look at people watching 8 hours of Kitchen Nightmares going, I'm not going to fucking do that. What are you, crazy? I'm not risking this.
I would never do that on my own, even.
Right? But then I'm like, oh, hold on. Let's go for some user-submitted videos that are like, I don't know, a guy in Japan petting a cat or a guy building a diorama for Subnautica or what have you, right? Like, freely available YouTube videos made by our colleagues, right? And I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter what it is. For some reason, I thought it was like, oh, it was going to be, you know, it's because people are watching movies, which is insane to me, right? Oh, it's because people are watching TV shows. No. Nah. And then I saw somebody in the chat just say something that really hurt me deeply, which was like, you guys know you guys are just reacting to video games, right?
Yes. It's never been outside of...
It's an interactive, it's a performance.
No. No, it's always been that way. It's just one category of this thing that you've been doing, and the rest have been there the whole time. Especially now that you can see my face. Once upon a time, that didn't matter in what we were putting out.
The voiceless, the faceless void character.
The pure let's play, the video, the full mix, and then the full gameplay screen. But that, like, the moment it's like, oh, here's me in the corner going, whoa! That's it.
I'm probably going to change my layout so that I have more back border to throw the chat onto.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've moved...
and so there's no cutoff of the game, it's like...
No, the floating window. I've already, prepared for the possibility of throwing any other bullshit I need to on the screen. So that's pretty much what comes next. Boy...
Oh, I do feel really bad. Like, there was a moment in that stream that, like, hurt my soul genuinely, where I'm watching, like, complete garbage and people sending me, like, their fucking 15-year-old TF2 fan movies and shit, and, like, we're trucking, and then the instant I fucking put on a Tim Rogers video, like 300 people just bail, like within 1 second. And I'm like, man, you fuckers have no taste. And I'm looking in the chat, and I'm seeing people go, "What the fuck is the point of this? When are we going to get to the point?" I'm like, no, you don't understand. You just don't understand. You just don't understand. There is no point. There's no point to be made.
You want to talk about like ideas that have been juggled around, right?
Yeah.
I've absolutely juggled around like versions of this type of thing, but it was like in theme with a subject, you know?
Yeah, no, it was like curated and managed.
And like, for example, like I remember, and I was talking with Reggie about it as well, because it's like there's a fuck ton of shit that he hasn't seen. Certainly, Reggie's a big old cherry boy. But like we'd pick like a particular topic and then just go down that rabbit hole. And I didn't pull the trigger on that, but it was always like, it was one that we talked about. I think one subject we literally discussed was, let's just sit and watch like trailers for like Indian movies. Let's just go right down that and just surf to the end and see where we go, you know? And like that's like a topic that you dive in on and then you dive back out.
So I did do that. So this is there were 3 streams that fit this criteria so far. And apologies if this I find it fascinating to talk about the way Twitch works, because it's, I mean, obviously. The first stream is prior to Endwalker. I watched every single FF14 trailer and then ranked them according to their patch. And that took like 6 hours. It took a really, really long time. But that was the themed watch, right? That was it's coming up on the thing. And the second one was just, I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do for a day. And so it's like, let's play Winnie the Pooh, let's watch Salty Bet, let's watch Canadian Public Service. But it wasn't like core. It was just like meandering, right? And then this one, I put out the call for, what do you people got to watch? I have to say, some people are morons. Hey, watch this entire redub of the Star Wars film. Are you insane?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you absolutely? Have you lost your fucking mind? Watch anime music videos from the '90s that are all owned by UMG Music. Like, oh yeah, good, yeah. But yeah, and it's just like I don't get it.
But the threat of like just again massive, horrible, gross TOS in the middle of whatever you're watching is always a fear that I would have.
Which is why I decided to disable clips and VODs, and I don't upload it to YouTube.
I see. Okay. Well,
it's currently sitting in an unpublished, invisible state on the Twitch channel, just in case. But it is ephemeral, which also ties into the FOMO. Better show up, or else you won't get to see me react to that dog video you sent in.
See, I'm gonna need a different one. Yeah, I'm gonna need a different version of that, but I think some stronger filtration will be needed if I can just get a filter going.
So I ran, I skimmed it myself, but that's not feasible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the thread and throw it at a large group of people and be like, can you guys check this for pornography?
That's essentially, you gotta, Huh. There's some, yeah.
I'm glad I got to hit you with the analytic and got the live analytic check, because like, our overall analytics are pretty similar. We have good days, we have bad days, we have better games. Like Elden Ring does great for everybody, right? And then you just have boom.
And admittedly, my quality of life improves when I'm not checking them. So I also don't check very often.
I check it constantly. I love checking analytics. I need the data.
I'm that person. I'm like, I'm enjoying life more without it.
In terms of Twitch analytics and YouTube analytics, I am the villain from a 1999 robot anime, in which give me all of your fucking battle data now.
I've been in that mode, and I've been outside of that mode, and I prefer the latter. Yeah.
But yeah, the game
interesting.
has changed again.
Interesting. Boy. Okay.
So I'm gonna be doing one of these a week.
Yeah, like maybe. All right. Well, I'll see you on the other side, fuckers. Like
Also, I have to give credit where credit's due, much like almost every good idea that's ever showed up on my channel. This was Paige's idea. She pushed me to do this kind of content. She thought it would be successful. She's right. And I also want to thank friend of the show, Eli, aka Plague of Gripes, who has been doing it for a while, and who I asked advice on like, so where do you get the fucking videos? How do you, right?
Yep.
It was very helpful.
Nope. Big. That's all right. One less Mass Effect per week.
So can I steal your algorithm? Can I steal like Pat stares at the algorithm, and you can steal this? Can we do that?
Is it a mutual steal?
Yeah, that's fine.
Come up, get a solid name going. I think. I mean, I'm gonna sit and talk to Reggie about how to actually do this, but at some point we'll probably figure out how to actually do this. Yeah, there you go.
You know what we should do? We should just load up each other's streams and just watch those. Does that count? Does that work? Like, do you guys want to see me watch Wooly's Elden Ring LP?
Yeah, that is a whole new level of just incest, just nonsense going on. God.
Oh, I'm getting real upset. I'm getting real upset at the chat scroll feedback on
stupid.
this.
This is getting stupid. Absolutely stupid. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's there you go. That's a trade.
Oh.
Okay.
So I figured you'd think that was interesting, at least from an academic point of view.
No, again, it's like you said, I've had the bullet in the chamber, for more like targeted subjects, but whatever. Fucking shoot that shit.
Hey, tell you what, I'll start you off. You go ahead and watch those barbecue pit boys videos, and you'll
Cold Steel, was it?
Just free no, that too. Cold Steel. Oh, good old Cold Steel. I think the absolute shit meta that I can't believe is that because it was a video that was submitted, and then when I brought it up as being a bizarre choice for something for me to watch, everyone went, no, watch it. That's great. People want to watch me watch the supercut of Nyanners watching to the supercut of Cold Steel videos.
You know what it is, too? Because, again, it's all known. These are known things, but it's the part where, like, people would have...
Yeah, you people
would have fucking, like, roasted us if this were a couple years ago and anything remotely resembling this kind of proposition were put on the table.
So you weren't part of this, and you might have been out of town at the time. But do you remember that for the final shitstorm of 1 year, we did Outlast, and it had a webcam in it?
I was the one who said, "Guys, are you ready for the real shitstorm that's gonna come?"
Okay. Do you remember how crazy people got? How
it was
fucking
nuts.
Absolutely unhinged.
It was out of control, and I warned you about it. I specifically warned you about it.
Yeah, you were right, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how right you were. People lost their fucking minds. And I'm like, but now they want to hang out on webcam and watch literally paint dry.
Well, because half of them weren't around then, so the new half that's just used to that shit and has grown up on that is just bullying the old half into being like, nah.
You know what? Because some of those people were the people who were pissed off that Let's Plays included video at all.
Right.
They were pissed off that Let's Plays weren't still getting made in the screenshot, music, text thread, something awful variation.
I have the fucking data because I can show you. I remember when I was Twitch streaming the Let's Plays, and then we were putting the episodes up. There was a phase when we were not putting video in the YouTube episodes, right?
Right.
There was that period of time that was like, no, there's enough people, and I've checked in to see, and it's like there's a lot of people that like they want the original style. This is what it's a, you know, the preferred pure Let's Play without the videos and such. And then the moment the dam broke on that, there was just no turning back from it. And even the people that were like, I prefer without it, but it is funny to see your faces during the hype moments or the funny moments or the, you know, shit like Disco Elysium, right? Where it's like there's moments of Disco Elysium that are mostly nothing, and in terms of like us, you know, facially reacting or whatever, just reading the text. And then there's moments of, oh my God, we want to see you when you see the text, you're black or whatever pop up, you know?
God, I just called you Paige again. God damn it.
So,
oops. They need to see the pog face.
Yes, they need the pogs.
They need to see you hit poggers.
That's it. That's why they're there. They're there for that's 1,000,000%. So, like, even the people who are like, I don't really like it, were kind of like, yeah, you know, and stuff. And like, and each step you kind of watch that happen, you know, you watch it happen with like thumbnail style changing. There's just every, you know, like even like there's just every little thing. There's like a bit of a like, okay, that viewer is and I mean, people do say that like you train your audience a certain way and like expectations do like cement after time, but that sentiment that we're talking about, like that has fucking faded away aggressively. And we're now talking to, I don't know how many people are among the group that are like still that way, or once were that way but have changed their minds, or are just new people that never had it. But it feels like a whole lot of these people are like new, never were around for that anyways, don't give a fuck about it. It's interesting. Because we, absolutely would have gotten crucified.
I just commissioned a new layout from my layout friend to jam the fucking dirtbag chat in there.
You know the other thing too.
I'll give you the analytics on that garbage next week.
The other thing, the other side of this as well is the part where, even if you're not changing what you're doing, right, and if what's happening on YouTube as a platform and now on TikTok and on Twitch as a platform evolves drastically, then in that 5 years where you haven't changed anything, people are still used to other things now, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, you can be the rock on the eternal shore, crash against you and be broken, but like people will get conditioned towards other types of content, whether or not you're consistent with your own, oddly. So,
but it's just like, it's this brave new world, and it's just like, how many Mr. Beast videos can I watch?
Right.
Because personally, I can watch Mr. Beast eat a cactus 30 times in a row.
And I know person right now who's thinking, holy shit, like fucking boomers realize that people enjoy reaction content. It's like, no, obviously that's a known. That's
we
not,
just thought that everyone that did was like a stupid baby moron. Not our audience.
Obviously it's very popular. It's just also very stupid. It's not knowing. It's knowing and fucking hating it.
Wait, did I say Mr. Beast again? I meant LA Beast.
Wait, what's that?
Oh, LA Beast is a caveman for the modern era and does food challenges where he eats like an entire cactus or drinks like an 18-year-old bottle of Crystal Pepsi.
I see. That doesn't sound like Mr. Beast
LA
at all.
Beast is a hero.
Okay.
He is a hero. I saw the video I watched of his was brand new on my stream. He chewed some 16 million Scoville bubble gum until he could blow a bubble.
Okay, in gum form, you're doing damage to your mouth, man.
Oh, no, this guy's a professional. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay.
He's not a professional.
All right. Boy. Huh. How about that fourth wall?
Yeah.
All right. I got to pee.
Stare directly into the camera and just...
Yeah. All right. Here. Fucking break again. I'll try this.
Enjoy your piss.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm getting a hot tub installed.
Okay. That's
I just need to find a bikini big enough for my tits. Or not.
it's a whole new category. Right. Where are we going? What's going on over here?
Yeah, what's going on in video games? I hope there's no horrible news coming out of Nintendo.
So, Multiversus, Black Adam, and Stripe have been announced from Gremlins, the bad one. They're coming with Rick and Morty for season 1, and
it's not just that that's cool. It's that like 1,000,000% confirms that entire completely absurd leak list.
Yep, Stripe is too fucking on the money.
Also, literally, like yesterday, as part of they accidentally uploaded like an in progress version of some of the changes, which included like audio for like the fucking Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh,
so
wow.
like,
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's that whole list. That whole list.
I mean, and for like the characters that come in like LeBron and Black Adam that are just going to be like current movie tie-in things are, yeah, it's like in most cases, like Marvel Infinite style, these can be the death of a game if you know, you're wasting time, effort, and money on something that's not going to matter right after this movie comes out. 2 weeks go by and they no longer give a shit about this character. But in this kind of nonsense roster anyway, it none of it matters. It completely doesn't. It's like Smash kind of had a whole thing like, you know how it was like Sakurai in his discussions would be like every character they picked had to have a place in the roster of video game history, and it had to be a personal thing, and
they would measured and curated list built by artisans.
It couldn't be any more divorced from the current release lineup, you know? And here, Multiversus is pretty much about to just be the marketing team feeding it to the creatives and going, make this, shut up.
You know those nightmare videos where like a white woman takes like chicken breasts and like breads it with batter and then dips it into like a fucking bag of Doritos?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that, but the Doritos are what fucking property do we just have lying around? We own Wizard of Oz, right? Yeah, totally. Can we get a Godzilla writing on that? Yeah, fuck it.
And yeah, that'll explain your Arya and your Gandalf. But the specific pick of, you know, like Space Jam 2's LeBron James, like I said, and Black Adam, The Rock, coming in theaters August 8th, whatever, you know, like that shit is going to continue as well. And this game's by nature being like pretty much a marketing shill experiment from the get-go, it's immune to all of that.
Yeah. Also, they're making like they're consistently making the right decisions on all of the extra stuff. So the battle pass is out, and the final unlock for the little baby battle pass was Cake the cat as a fully voiced different skin.
Mm-hmm.
The one this time around is a costume that had to be in the game, and it's Brunhilde Bugs Bunny in drag for Ride of the Valkyries. And it's like, that is like, if Bugs Bunny is wearing clothes, Bugs in drag is like vital, mandatory. That's the most Warner Brothers shit in the world.
And ultimately, whatever the character ends up being when it drops, like, I don't know what the fuck a Gremlins character is gonna be for a move list, but if it's a fun kit, then whatever. Like, LeBron was legitimately a fun move list.
Yeah, so the Gremlins could do anything because they have one of the movies takes place in a mall in which they just do all sorts of fucking zany mall shit. Yeah, so like, you could give Stripe anything.
Like that, you know, I guess you just kind of recreate scenes, you know, is the way to go about it. But yeah, as long as the game is fun and like what they're doing is, again, it's a fun kit, then who fucking cares, man? And speaking of, I guess, LeBron and his kit, the balance changes were announced, and they have very clearly identified their intentions to rework the fuck out of Finn and rework the fuck out of Taz and his spin. Yeah,
and they're also going to do a massive hitbox pass. The game currently doesn't have a priority system at all. It's old-fashioned hitboxes, which they will be adding, which is why this is still technically an open beta.
There's a big extensive list, and the patch list, I would give this would be nominated for a Patchy Award, because
it's a good patch.
Good patch list, puts all the general stuff up top, and each change it makes, it puts a little statement, not too long, but 1 or 2 sentences to tell you why they're changing it or what the goal is supposed to be. You know, for example, Bugs Bunny, the first thing it says is, Bugs Bunny is a bit too safe in everything he does. We've given him some additional whiff punish windows to help address this. And that's exactly the truth, like 100%. Yeah. You're like, why does it feel
Bugs
weird?
Bugs Bunny up tilt in the air is like, was disgusting. It was the most fucking vicious thing in the world.
It was unclear, like, well, you're like, why am I losing a lot of these exchanges? And it's like, yeah, because straight up the reasoning behind it, and that you don't have to then be like, oh, salty that you got nerfed in this way or whatever without understanding the reason why. You know, that explanation and then the specifics going down into each move as well. Solid. That's exactly what you want to see. So they've addressed, like it looks like Iron Giant's weird butt stuff, down B, but Iron Giant's butt stuff.
you gotta patch that Iron Giant butt stuff.
You gotta patch the Iron Giant butt stuff. You really do. It's pretty strong in the current version. Yeah, Finn's sword, like they said, they're going for a full-on pass, but in the meantime, they've made adjustments to it, as well as his bag spin.
Yeah,
it now
I
is.
fucked around with it. It is seriously toned down.
I mean, the mid, like not even the final hit, the hits leading up to the final hit used to also beat out whatever you were doing.
Yeah, the biggest nerf isn't even that. It's the vacuum effect is way less strong. So you used to hit with like the tip of the bag on the hit one, and it would just suck you right in for every hit. It doesn't do that anymore. There's a light vacuum effect, so you still have to hit it like for real.
Not young Link anymore. Now just regular Link.
Yeah.
Yeah, so big change to LeBron's dunk. I saw it's like it doesn't do the shockwave unless it's the alley-oop version, it seems, is what I read. Yeah, just a lot of stuff. Shaggy's side special, his Falcon kick. Way too abusable. Good. Yep. So more punishable now. And with Taz as well, there's a cooldown on the spin. Now he does a weaker version of the spin after you've done the good one. But as a burf, it says if you pass by an ally while you're doing the good spin, you can keep the spin going for another second.
Yeah.
Which is fair. Like, yeah, that's fine. You know, give it extra utility if you use it with a partner. Yeah, so, you know, like, so far I'm liking what I see from this initial patch list, and I'm liking the transparency. Looks like, you know, the game is going to be moving fucking fast compared to, again, a contemporary like Smash, you know? Where the game, it's like it just dropped and we're already getting versions and I guess like 6 or 7 roster additions. You know, the momentum is very, very high for this.
Fucking full speed ahead. Also interesting, while Warner Brothers was burning its own dick off the other day, the head of the company that does Multiversus came out and was like, "Yeah, that doesn't affect anything we're doing. We're good. We're solid. Don't worry about it."
True. Yeah. I did see a tweet thread about that. So that's cool. I hope that I hope that like they continue as well with like a bunch of the patches were just like perk touching, you know, that's really important too, and I'm glad they didn't
there
just
was a patch that's like, hey, Batman doesn't kill himself anymore when he grapples you.
So good for Multiversus. Keeping an eye on that. All right, what else is going on? Shout outs to PT for hitting its 10-year anniversary, to which Guillermo del Toro simply retweets Kojima and writes FK.
That's great. It's great.
8 years, excuse me. 8 years since PT. Real GDT. Good shit. So anyway, this week we're getting reports here that a fire broke out in Nintendo. It seems that there was a small fire that broke out in the development center in Kyoto, likely started by a device that was being charged. No injuries. However, 8 fire trucks were dispatched, and the fire was extinguished by employees. A few items were partially destroyed.
The only thing that died was that new F-Zero game that they were working on, that they only had the one copy of.
Burnt to a crisp, the specifically that one ROM.
Well, good to hear that everything's going well over at Nintendo, and that the worst thing they have to worry about is a small fire.
And then a humongous fire. Meanwhile, overseas. Yeah, it's the exact same story. We do it like almost every week.
What's
at this
that?
point.
Nintendo employees are creepy sex perverts as well?
Mad Libs. Insert company name. Insert offense. Insert time.
Insert the word no union.
So basically, 10 sources confirmed to Kotaku that working at Nintendo at different points in the past decade, there was tons of stories of corporate culture, sexist behavior being commonplace, very little action being taken to address it, most requesting anonymity because even talking about this, of course, could lead to retaliation, potential loss of job opportunities throughout the gaming industry, pretty much identically resembling what we read about every other company up to this point.
Yeah.
It's just no exception.
Get a union.
And in particular,
union will fucking make demands.
And the reports were coming in from people that were around, not just currently, but going from back to early Wii U era days to present Nintendo Switch generation. So it's just literally, it's every single one. It's every single one. Yeah. Nintendo is not much of an exception here in that the same real grimy shit that we saw with Ubisoft trying to, take these complaints, hear about them, and then do their best to just rug it as fast and as hard as possible.
But Nintendo's so wholesome. How could a company or even an individual that portrays themselves as a wholesome bastion of goodness and morality do something wrong? Nintendo's always trying to protect the kids from the perverts. How could somebody who talks about how you shouldn't be a pervert with the kids be a sex pervert? It's almost like there's something else at Nintendo that makes me think of this pattern. I can't quite place it. Multiversus is pretty good, though.
Well,
Smash players are pedophiles.
Shout-outs to one of these stories going down, and then the potential of one of these stories going down and then immediately being followed up by, now go back to your desk and continue censoring that outfit.
Yeah.
That continue modifying that wedding dress. Anyway, the part of the story that really is always comes.
Do you remember, like, me making fun of the anime dorks because of Xenoblade 2 and the girls got the fucking big titties covered up or whatever and all that? Because of Nintendo, and the Fatal Frame pervert game was covered up by the Nintendo. I'm like, what are y'all complaining about? I maintain that stance, but the fucking audacity of Nintendo going like, yo, these girls in this game gotta cover up, but not you, Janice! Keep showing over those legs! Wow, wow, wow! As Janice glares.
Which one was, who was that?
Sick of it. Which one? The Fatal Frame one? Janice is a fictional character I've created as the victim of sexual harassment in the workplace.
I see. Okay, gotcha. Understood. Yeah, man. Every one of these stories has like a million things in common, but like the parts where the parts that are like fucking ridiculous in each story is always the second step, because the first step of like, okay, so you've accidentally hired a super fucking creep criminal, right?
Yes.
And that person has through chats or whatever behavior, company parties, been slowly unleashing their shit and have not been thrown in jail yet elsewhere, and or have possibly been fired from previous locations and then made their way over to here. People slip through hiring all the time, right? They pretend to not be fucking creeps, and then they get in.
Especially when they're your friend and you knew about it beforehand, so you knew what to tell them not to say during the interview process they would not get hired.
Well, that would make it a lot easier to get through.
Would it make it a lot easier, right? Listen, don't you're going to be interviewed by a lady. Don't take your dick out just for the interview. Once you're in, work here 3 weeks, I'll get you vetted, you'll be indispensable, they can't get rid of you. But just for the interview, don't take your dick out.
Dude, it's going to be tough, man. I don't know. Like, the whole time? What about just towards the end? Just a bit?
No, just listen. We'll go down to the Cosby house afterwards, okay? You'll need some time to cool off. Just do this. You'll sail right in.
So
I know you can do it. You got through the Ubi hiring process.
You got through it. It's just you look at every single instance of it, and you're just kind of like, okay, so there is a point at which the fucking, the red light goes off, the detection occurs, and then someone comes and lets you know, hey, some fucked up shit's going on, and then that's the slow down bullet time moment of like, okay, company, which path do you take? And there's no timer on this decision, because this is going to set the pace. This is going to go forward, And if the standard escalation practice of, here's an NDA, don't tell anyone about this, we'll handle it internally, even though this could easily go to a criminal investigation, and then minimize discussion, moving departments, and no actual real repercussions when you see that type of shit occur, then it's like, okay, that's the path you've chosen. That means anytime anything worse than this occurs, that's how it goes down, because the image is more important than actually correcting the problem. And but it's like,
and that's how you end up with 1,000 dead kids under a school.
It's such a, like,
it's literally, like, I'm not saying Nintendo murdered anybody, though I wouldn't doubt it. But it's the same organizational fucking thought process.
But you would think that self-preservation, especially over time, would make them think that...
What are you talking about?
Like, the idea of just looking good and, and not looking like the pieces of shit that there actually are...
What, you mean like Activision Blizzard that just got bought out by Microsoft for $shit-zillion?
Yes, you would think...
You mean them?
You would think, I'm simply
Or the
saying.
Catholics who people are still Catholic?
Of course.
Full stop?
Because in a game of just dumb, basic corporate self-preservation, the removal of that individual after that type of shit goes down is so... Whatever impact that has on the project is so much less than this version of events. Every single time. So the cost benefit analysis in that moment, like, I'm like, even like, if you're just if you don't actually give a fuck,
literally cost Nintendo a dime.
What do you mean in terms of, like, bad press
overall? Do you think this will actually result in even a single dollar lost for Nintendo?
Not at the initial stage, not at this stage of, like, a story came out about this and it's one like every other company.
Well, don't worry.
No.
Nintendo is like the Disney of video games. And the thing about Disney is that Walt Disney was fucking evil, but that's okay, because he made the cute movies for the kids, like the Pokemon of his era.
Yeah, no, you can go to, like, you can go to the stories online and Twitter threads and whatnot and see where people just kind of actively respond to these things and go, don't give a fuck as long as the games are good, right? You can see that. The thought is, of course, that if anything snowballs to being a ridiculous, like, Blizzard-esque, the only story you're hearing about them is how bad it gets with a Bobby Kotick on top with the active, you know what I mean? Like, it can get to that point when the bodies are being uncovered and there's so many of them after decades of this bullshit.
Yeah.
So it can get there.
It can eventually. However, they get an extra run on that clock because it's also a Japanese company, and Japanese office dynamics are wild.
Well, this story is coming from the Redmond office, so
yes. So congratulations, Nintendo of Japan. You managed to keep it hush-husher than your American branch.
All this to say that I just want you just look at this and you go, even if you're acting in greedy self-interest, you would still be like, yeah, fire that guy. We don't want to deal with it. You know, you don't even have to, like, take it to any sort of complicate, like, versus the potential bullshit afterwards or whatever. Like, I don't know. It just seems like it's still the let's move the priest over to the next parish type of thing is like,
If
Or
if
just
there
get
was
another priest, man.
if there was a quarterly value in not letting your employees be a bunch of sexual harassment freaks, then then it wouldn't happen because
In
everybody would
not
get
letting.
shit.
Okay.
Everybody would get shit fired the instant because it's bad for business. Which, of course, the reality is that it is bad for business because employees that are having to worry about being fucked with all the time
Wait.
don't do very good work.
Hold on. Hold on. But what if the person who looks and has to make that decision, I'm the guy? What if it is me? And I have to decide what to do when the problem is brought to me.
Wooly, I'm gonna listen. There's a lot of people I could have trusted with this, but I'm gonna trust you because you're the only person I can trust. I need you to figure out who has been spreading these photos of the Prime Minister in blackface as far as they can see. Only you can figure out the secret mole who has been doing this. I just don't know who it could be. Do you have any idea who it could be?
I will find them, and their punishment will be meted out swiftly.
Oh, thank goodness! You're really the only one we could trust. Well, we solved the problem.
I'm on the case.
The problem is over. It's like, hey Jimmy, can you figure out who's sexually harassing the employees? Yeah. You gonna get on that? Yeah. Thanks, Jimmy. Jimmy's so popular with everybody here. He's always at everybody's desk, making sure they're doing well.
I mean,
that Jimmy. I knew we could count on him.
I mean, there's also the version of it where it's like straight from the HR office, where the HR manager takes the signed document and then just brings it right to the desk, of the person who, again, could have very well been the perpetrator in this case. So,
and obviously the version we put forth before, it's like, listen, I know he's difficult, but he's my brother-in-law's cousin, and I had to give him his job so that he stopped coming to our house and bugging me. So you're just going to have to deal with it until you eventually quit.
Did you tell him what to do in the interview? You gave him the...
I did give him a ringer. I did give him the tip.
You told him about... Okay.
Yeah, I did.
All right. Son of a bitch. Wait till it blows over.
Also, there's the even more dire of, well, I have to cover up this guy's shit because I hired him and I did know. Which means if he goes down for it, then they're going to find out that I totally knew before I hired them.
Now we're getting to the other hypothesis, which is the iceberg theory.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it the fucking tip of the iceberg hypothesis here. Oh fuck. Okay, how do we that's a pretty big iceberg. Yeah. What's going on under the water? Oh dear Lord. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. So here's what's interesting, though. In parallel to this, because we've been talking about the Blizzard acquisition and the Sony and Microsoft battle that is taking place with that. Part of that massive acquisition, which is taking its sweet time, is because complaints are being lodged, and the FTC is looking into documents that Microsoft have filed with the FTC about the acquisition, and there's a lot of that correspondence that is that's private, so we don't know what's going on. But for some specific reason, Brazil has a completely different system when it comes to their Council for Economic Defense, aka CADE, and they're a more public-facing regulator, so that any documents submitted to them the public finds out about it right away. And so any documents relating to the acquisition for the 68 billion merger that's going down have shown up publicly. They're including this complaint that Microsoft says that Sony is paying for blocking rights to keep games off of Game Pass.
Yeah, no shit.
Not even remotely surprising when you think about how, that's essentially what we found out about like Epic with the exclusivity as well. And in a lot of these cases, they don't, when they say exclusivity, it really just means not on the other guy's system because they don't care about PC, or with Epic, it'll be like not on Steam. Anywhere else, we don't give a fuck. So, they're basically, part of this is that they're saying that no, there's direct extra financial incentives that Sony's putting out to different game companies and paying them to do whatever, but don't be on Game Pass, and we'll make up for that.
Yeah, duh. I'm shocked that this is news that people we found out. It's like, yeah, no, it's a different exclusive deal. It's just weirder because it's not actually exclusive. It's just not that.
Yeah, exactly. It's we've got like anti-exclusivity, like targeted restriction is what we want. Don't go on that one thing. And then I'm sure, anything that is anything that could directly be on PS Plus, I'm sure Microsoft would also want to go about that, restricting that if possible. But either way, they're filing a complaint here and trying to see if that can, I guess, result in a lawsuit. But this is probably something that's been going on every platform for at least 2 generations now. Certainly Epic and Steam on PC, we know that's been the case, and we've heard from developers talking about that. Anyway, so yeah, more on that as it goes, but I'm not gonna lie, like this. My eyes kind of glaze over with each of these stories as they pop up from week to week.
Yeah, every single week there's like weird, somewhat quasi-legal, dickbag, to be expected business strategy. This new company did a crime and they're creepy and they also don't want you watching anime.
In the meantime, they dropped a trailer for a new Kirby game.
Oh, yeah! I love Kirby! Kirby's wholesome!
It's Kirby's Dream Buffet. They took Fall Guys and they mixed it with Gourmet Race, and now you can can race with Kirby and eat food, and the fatter
Kirby's
you get,
my friend. Oh, Kirby's
the fatter you get, the more you win.
Yay!
Yeah. So, all right. There were some cool indies that popped up. I saw trailers for. I would like to direct your attention to a game simply known as Squirrel with a Gun.
Yeah, I've seen this. There's a squirrel in it. It got a gun.
The squirrel has a gun. It has different kinds of guns. It is a photorealistic environment, and the squirrel can use the gun to air jump and double jump and triple jump. There are points at which the squirrel is being chased by dudes in suits, agents, it seems like, and can then use the gun to melee and essentially rainstorm one of the guards at one point. And then at other points, you see random people walking around the neighborhood, and one of them's taking a photo. It's some kid. And then you pull out your gun and you point it at the kid. Then the kid freaks the fuck out.
That's good.
And then you pick up whatever they drop. So it's really just, it's in the spirit of Untitled Goose Game, but it's the natural evolution of what squirrels would do if they had the opportunity.
They would shoot you. If a seagull could, it would run you over with their car.
The only thing holding them back is those tiny little arms.
That's it.
But this game solves that problem.
Yep.
So check out Squirrel with a Gun. It also gets like into some weird, wild, like sci-fi looking levels outside of just like running around town.
Yeah, of course it does.
But yeah. Then there's a trailer for World Fighting Soccer 22, which is what should have been a long time ago it's essentially NBA Jam Soccer.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Um,
Wait, did that exist? Wasn't that NFL
Blitz?
No.
Football?
There was NBA Street, and there was the NFL one, and then there
NFL
was
Blitz?
No, not that one. It was a different one. There was an NFL NBA Streets game. It was not NFL Blitz. FIFA Street?
I mean, are you talking about like Mario Strikers or just NFL Street?
No.
But okay, but Street,
NBA Street,
NFL. But if it's NFL Street, that's
it was NFL Street.
Okay, well I still to me like Street and Hang Time and NBA Jam are different things though in a way. Like there's a little bit of hyperness in the Street games, but like Jam is completely hyper insane.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, so I wouldn't compare them as much. But I was talking about soccer, as in football.
But that's football.
But soccer.
Oh.
So, if anything, I always wondered why there was no Shaolin soccer game, because if you've seen Shaolin soccer,
that'd be good.
That shit was rad. But yeah, so this is a fucking 2D side view, wild NBA Jam style, fire powers, super jumping, crazy ass. Could have been on the Super Nintendo soccer hyper game.
Yeah, it looks cool.
World Fighting Soccer 22. Gonna look into that real quick. And shout outs to Batboy for making its funding. I did see that was a Kickstarter for like a retro style project that was the Shovel Knight-esque in that it's like just a retro NES adventure. Looks like it would look like they had a good preview that showed like a lot of the game was already made. So like that's the kind of thing that you kind of want to see is like, okay, the team has the ability to fucking do this. They've clearly already done most of the heavy lifting here. And they were approaching their limit, and it looks like they were able to get across the finish line with I think 109% funding. So looks kind of cool too, actually. So check out Batboy. I still, of course, with Kickstarter things, I always bring it with that like the age of the big Kickstarter explosion is over, but check it out. If you see a trailer that suits your fancy, then back it. But a grain of salt for every project. What's up?
Sorry, I'm laughing because there's a lot of flowers outside the front door, and Paige went to go put something in outside, and she had to sprint back in the house, being chased by bees.
Bees.
It's just that look somebody gets on their face where they're being attacked by bees, and it has to go real fast.
Yep.
I love it. Oh, bees don't bother me. It's strange. Like, me and Paige will be walking down the street, and bees will just start dive bombing her, and they completely ignore me.
Oh, like, one of my roles, my job forever is to distract Punch Mom from whenever a bee's around and just, like, turn her this way and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, look at this. Nothing.
Absolutely. Like you're eating at a restaurant and you're like, oh hey, can you can you come here for a sec? Hold on.
Yep. Got to do it. It's either that or massive insane freak out.
The problem is she's very vigilant. So if I like when you lock onto the bee, like past them over there, they look at you and they go, what is it? Is it a bee? I'm like, no, it's fine. Just look at me over here right now for 1 second. Just hold that. Okay, good. The bee is gone. The bee that I said wasn't there is gone.
I mean, like I thank God it never came to it, but there was a moment when in New Zealand we pulled up to a stop where for some reason the bees at this particular location were just attracted to the car and were like, the big blue car was just like, oh, we want in.
What a nice flower.
And like, there was we had to basically like, she had to drive a distance away from them, and then I had to run and then get in the car quickly and then keep rolling because it would chase and I had to outrun the beast to get away from them.
It's good.
But like the entire protocol I had to have ready was essentially, what if we are on the highway in the middle of driving and B is in the car, you know? And
there was
the things I do in that moment will determine whether or not we both live.
Yeah, there was a moment where we were driving somewhere and Paige was rolling up to parallel park and a bee flew into the car and she stopped the car and then just ran away. Got out and just ran away.
I warned you.
Like, the car was safely on the side of the road. She made sure to do that. But then just bee in the car, door open, no time to close the door. Just run. Just run.
I hate that.
I mean, if it's parallel parked, then fucking job done, right? Turn the keys.
You know that easy parallel park where there's no car you have to get behind you? You just roll up to a car in front of you? On the side of a road. So she starts freaking out and her arms start going nuts, but she still calmly drove the car into its intended place and then ran directly into traffic. Because the right side of the road, she's getting out of the car, just right into the traffic, because the traffic is less scary than the bee.
Why are you gonna blow me up like this?
I mean,
Fuck you.
Technically, that's getting the job done, though. Like,
the job was done.
The job was done.
Wooly, I'm glad that we're both in this weird situation where our wives are more capable than us, as they are the drivers, but we both have the feeling of going down the highway with the windows down and like, if a bee flies in here, I'm just gonna die.
That's kind of what's gonna happen. Like, the end of life is the moment the bee is seen. If I can't handle it before it reaches her attention, that's it. We had a good run.
No, it's like there's gonna be a scream and then the full swerve pull on the thing, and then we're gonna just die.
So we're driving yesterday, and it's a long one. It's full day fucking on the road, and I'm reading some Trigun Maximum, and
yes,
and it starts getting dark, and like I'm kind of wondering, because as we're driving and losing the light, I'm like, oh, like maybe I can just turn on the overhead light to read and continue, and then I get a deep, horrible fear in my chest of a memory of, oh God, no, the moment I turn this on, the driver will be blinded and will swerve into an oncoming 18-wheeler, and that will be it.
That's right. No, that is true.
and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I'm like, hey, is there is there any way, do you think, would it bother you too much if I turned on one of these over? And she was like, yeah, I think maybe that'll be fine. Sure. And I'm just remembering, I'm like, oh my God, every parent ever in any car in the dark at any time, if you turned on that overhead light while they were driving, that's the end game. We're all gonna die. If you ever turn that light on, we're fucking cooked. And I'm like, why is this a real thing? And I turned it on and she was like, no, that's fine. It's, and after a while, she's like, okay, it's a little bright in the corner of my eye now. It's kind of like the sun.
It depends on the driver, right? Part of the reason that we had that idea is that, like, I don't know how old your mom was when you this memory focused, but, like, my dad was in his, like, 40s, early 50s when I was a teenager. So, like, turning that on would actually screw up his night vision, right? My dad doesn't like to drive at night.
I had such a deathly fear, because I'm like, every adult, my mom, and then again, cousin, like every adult would lose their shit at you if you're like, hey, I dropped something on the ground, can I just turn it on to pick it up for a second? And they fucking lose their mind, because it's, again, the light of a blinding sun right here in the car.
I don't get it. Because I can understand caring about safety and optimal driving conditions, but, like, our parents came from the generation in which, like, the only reason they wore seatbelts was because they were going to get tickets, because seatbelts are for pussies.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So, my dad was a professional driver. He drove trucks for much of his early life, right? So he was on the road doing that kind of stuff, right, before he got a factory job closer to home. And driving the 14-hour days, yada yada. Dude didn't want to wear his fucking seatbelt. And I mean every single time I got in the car with my father in my entire life, he would start driving, and me and mom and my sister and my brother, one of us would go, "Dad, you forgot your seatbelt," and he would go, and he'd sit back up and then put the seatbelt on,
Dude,
like literally like 10,000, 100,000 times.
there is a bumper sticker that is on multiple cars that you can see from time to time that says straight up, "No airbags, we die like real men."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
straight up, just fuck safety, fuck the idea of surviving. If I crash, we deserve to go to Valhalla all shiny and chrome. Like, what the fuck, man? No airbags, we die like real men. Like, it's a common thing.
That's wild because you have to intentionally disable an airbag. That's the process. It's not, you don't do that by accident. You don't hit a button.
Well, the idea, I guess, is like if the car is old enough, or if it's whatchamacallit, like a fabricated old car or whatever, it's just gonna lack some of those features, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Insane.
That being said, in my dad's defense, I know exactly how he got in that habit. He's driving trucks and he was doing deliveries for the fucking. Thank you. He was doing deliveries for the Montreal Star back when the Montreal Star still existed. He was doing newspaper delivery, like with the truck. Guess what that means? You're getting out of the fucking cab like 4, 5, 6 times every hour.
Right.
And you're on a deadline. Which is why, I don't know if you noticed, but when you see UPS guys going by you or FedEx guys, they're not wearing their fucking seatbelts either.
No, they're running in and out like the mailmen. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Anyway. What the fuck is happening here? Okay. George R.R. Martin has given up predicting when he'll finish A Song of Ice and Fire. Well,
Can
sure,
we just
man.
move this conversation over to Brandon Sanderson?
Just one step.
Just Brandon, what are your plans?
Wasn't there a story from just right before this one that was like, he's going to finish, he said that he's confident he'll finish a character's story arc this week?
Yeah, one arc of the 58 characters. The book's unfinishable by his writing style. I don't know if we ever talked about it, but his writing style for Song of Ice and Fire is that what would this person do as a result of the actions the other characters have done, and he just follows a natural path, but there's no goal.
But I mean, what I kind of wonder when I see this kind of thing happen, though, is like, you know that thing that happens to every mangaka? You know that thing where like they're like, "Oh, I can't continue making this; it's destroying me."
Here's the pitch. Here's the tournament. Here's the second pitch. Here's the third pitch, which is actually just a different manga that I rolled into the pirate thing. Now I'm gonna burn out.
Yeah.
Now I'm sick. Now it's time jump. Now it's the tournament again.
If I have to draw a single more layout, one more layout, I'm gonna just vomit and die.
Yeah, I'm dying. I'm dying. How does Eriki do it? Still dying.
By sucking the blood of the young. So that is become a commonplace enough pattern that people recognize it coming in advance and do whatever they can for their health's sake, right? I don't know if George is experiencing something like that, where like working on it is making him deeply miserable in some way. You know, I don't know if it's just like this has always been like what he does, because I was not paying attention back during the previous books, so who the fuck knows? But it does make me think of that thing where the creator is sick of the thing, but they they're not quite at the point where they're going to say that yet.
So here's the thing: is that I assume he is sick of the thing. Is why he spent so little time writing it. But if he does anything to try and pass it off before his death, his publisher that made the deal with and gave him the money for the books is gonna fucking climb all the way up his ass and make the last 10 to 15 years of his life an absolute fucking nightmare, as well as the rest of us who will just hate him forever. So he's waiting until he dies, and he's got somebody he wants to finish the book picked out.
I mean, that is a fucking wild gambit, but like I'm reminded of like, you know, the warnings I've given people about like a Patreon based like fighting game where like it's going to update over time and you're going to see the game get better over the course of years, but there's zero incentive to actually finish the fucking thing because this is a monthly paycheck that's supporting the developer. And when the game is finished, that ends.
Song of Ice and Fire, Star Citizen.
But Grimm is not Grim's not on Patreon. Like this is not, he's not getting paid for not working, you know?
No, he got the advance from his publisher.
Got the advance.
And he got the fucking rights money from Game of Thrones. He probably had a royalty on that.
Certainly. Was the advance a decade ago?
Yeah, but the fucking HBO money, dude. He's good. He's good. There's no way he's not good. He did not make the same mistake Andrei Sarkowski did.
Right. Yes. With The Witcher. And, you know, you got fucking FromSoft coming up and saying what's up. You got the HBO second show going on where he can be like, oh, yeah, I watched most of it. It's pretty good. Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. No,
hustle or scam.
As far as I can tell, I think everyone should take this as a genuine nail in the coffin. Like it's not like everyone kind of knew in their gut, but like no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And he is unable to finish the book in his current life state.
So what does this article go into? Because it looks like it's a large interview here. Let's see.
Well, I feel I was talking to somebody and they basically explained that. And this is just a recap of the.
Okay, I hate having COVID here, but 2 years of isolation enabled me to get a lot more writing done, a lot less traveling time and public appearances. I'm making progress, but I've given up on any hope of predicting the end. Every time I do, I don't make it, and everybody gets mad at me, and there's no sense. It'll be done when it's done. Hopefully COVID won't kill me. We won't have that issue. I do find it a little grisly, people speculating about what's going to happen with the rest of the books when I die. I don't like to speculate about that. I don't feel close to dying.
You're 73. You could die any second. 74.
That sounds pretty fucking spiritually beaten, man. That sounds defeated.
Yeah. Good. Now use that sorrow to run.
I think when that happens to the mangaka, that then goes on to say, like, hey guys, I coughed up blood on my dot tone and I'm going to stop for now. And it's kind of like, yep, fair enough. Please don't die. I don't know if Grimm would even know how to broach the message of like, I can't do this, but having a publisher, as you mentioned, makes it also so that you can't really do that.
Can't give up.
There is no actual exit based on your contractual obligations. And if there's anything that implies like giving the advance back, you know, or worse, getting sued for it plus interest, that's no good. So maybe just waiting for it to for the candle to blow out actually becomes the viable tech.
So here's the thing, right? The mangaka comparison is not quite accurate, because like you look at those Hunter x Hunter drawings that are like scribbled napkin shit because the guy is like literally dying. He's in such poor health.
Mm-hmm.
And these are running like weekly, monthly, maybe bi-monthly with hiatus, right? Drawn comics for years and years and years and years and years and years, right? Like, dude, I was in elementary school when Game of Thrones came out, right? Now, I'm not a writer, but it's only 7 books, man. Writers write books a lot. Like a lot. And he did too. 96, 98, 2000, 2005, 2011 to question mark. He stalled out. He's not in poor health. He's not like he's kind of on top of the world genuinely with his success, right? Like he's just stalled out. He should probably just admit that he stalled out. And just give us a big list of who dies and who doesn't. Just a big list.
I mean, the last little bit I'll say is like it is not a direct comparison, but I am reminded of how JoJo Leon started in 2011.
Yeah.
And got there. But the difference, of course, in something that takes that long to reach the end conclusion is you can see that chapter come out. So there's a step-by-step process that feels like things are happening versus you're not getting Winds of Winter chapter by chapter over the course of a decade. Yeah. Who knows, man? Who knows?
That would be a wild fucking publishing model. Come to think of it.
Chapter by chapter?
Chapter by chapter.
For books, that would probably be terrible because I don't imagine it's improved by having like change of heart on certain things or changing the direction based on audience feedback and things like that. Like I kind of feel like like a serial manga will move and ebb and flow according to vague guidelines and then popularity and bits and reception as it goes on. But like books kind of need more structure than that.
So I think the only thing
not that a manga having that much structure doesn't improve it.
I think the only thing that could possibly make this worse is if there was some kind of like mystery component. Like if you were sitting around going, "Oh God, I hope George tells us what the One Piece is on his deathbed." Oh.
Anyway.
In all honesty, I think he would have saved himself a lot of grief by not telling everyone how many books it was going to be.
Well, but even then, you're still like, if things are not over, you're still sitting there waiting for...
Yeah, but then you could have a situation where people could be like, well, he could totally wrap it up in one book. There could be a book that's finished, which is waiting to release.
Sure.
Right?
But, yeah. Anyway, and then speaking of creative shit never seeing the light of day, there was an interview with Junichi Hayama, who is the dude that worked on the 2007 Phantom Blood JoJo movie.
Yeah.
If any of you recall, that was the one that never fucking came out outside of Japanese theaters because it was too embarrassing.
It was so bad that Araki like swore off adaptation for like decades.
I mean, so the thing is the prequels were before. No, the prequels. When were the prequels? Because those were also not good. Let's see here. What's the timeline on this? You had the original 93 Satoshi Kon ones, which were good. The prequels were 2001. They were bad. Then this Phantom Blood movie came out, and that was 2007. And it was apparently just one of the most god-awful things ever. And then, yeah, theatrical release. Never had seen anywhere else. He was asked about it, and he said, you worked on it as animation director and character designer. Is there a reason why the movie never saw any sort of home video release? And quite simply, he says, I don't want you to see me angry and pissed off, so it's better I don't answer this question.
Yeah, that movie is supposedly just god-awful. Like, just goddamn awful.
Man. But now I have to know, you know?
Yeah, no, that's the issue.
Just like there's like a Phantom Blood game on PS1, and there's a fucking Golden Wind game as well. Like, there's all this weird shit out there. You have to know. I really hope someone can track it down, because it did actually make it to theaters for a second. Anyway, and then beyond that, Guild Wars 2 is coming to Steam.
What?
Guild Wars 2 is coming to Steam on August 23rd. The base game is completely free all the way to max level, and it will also confirmed to have the Living Seasons, which is apparently the post-personal story and in between a big expansion storylines.
Guild Wars 2 is a I have some friends that played a lot of it, because I have MMO friends, and that type of person is a freak. That game was terribly mismanaged. And their Living Seasons idea was fucking so stupid. It was like the state of the world in when it came out was like, oh, there's going to be all these quests in the storyline, and then they're all going to go away, and then you'll do the next part of the storyline, and then they put out an expansion, and people are like, what's the story? And they're like, you missed it.
Mm-hmm. So the only thing I really know is that it stands out because of its model, which was like, instead of monthly
buy
subscription,
to play.
Yeah. Now, as somebody who was very averse to subscription models, especially back then, and I kind of still am, really, I like the idea of a game that you buy that then is all included and has a big online component, and then you can continue to buy things as they interest you as you keep playing it.
That game tried a lot of interesting things, and some of those things worked, and some of those things really didn't. The model was really cool. But the game had no roles. It was based on what weapon you picked up. Like, if you had a great sword, every class could use a great sword. But what it did was, but basically everyone was like DPS, and everybody had a self heal, and you had a dodge button to avoid mechanics you couldn't avoid, and it just didn't hit the way people thought it would.
Okay, but that's so the gameplay then didn't deliver on it, but the financial model was one that could work.
Yeah, but everything always got delayed because they didn't have steady income. It's like you've seen enough 14, and you've seen me talk about enough 14 to, like, every 3 to 6 months there's a big patch, and it has this feature and this feature and that boss and this boss and that new thing and that new thing and that new thing, because they have the monthly sub, so they can plan, feature creep associated with. Guild Wars 2 was buy to play, but it also had a cash shop. The cash shop was not popular. and there's a way to earn money in game that would be real money for the cash shop and stuff like that. And it just didn't. It was less than the sum of its parts.
Right. So yeah, okay. If the content was, delivering, and if there was enough cosmetic or, in between smaller purchases you could make to keep them afloat, this could be done. But
honestly, the weirdest thing about that game by far, is that was a really good casual MMO to play, to relax. And the weirdest thing is that you had 8 buttons to play with. Like, all your abilities map 1 through 8, and then a dodge, and then a potion, basically. A dodge and a heal. So 10 buttons. And it never, ever, 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 ever got controller support. People assumed that the reason why they went with 8 abilities, 1 heal, and 1 dodge is so that you could map it to a gamepad like that, right? But it never did. And it was extra weird because people digging into the launch version of the game found a bunch of Xbox prompts. Like the Xbox button prompts. And it was like, what? Like it, and I can like mentally map it into my head on how it would play on a controller, and it would play great. It would play much better than the mouse and keyboard one, because the mouse and keyboard one is one of those MMOs that they want you to hold down the right mouse button to move your camera, right? To rotate your camera, which actually gave me like crippling wrist pain when I was playing it, and that's why I had to stop. It's just very, very strange. Just legitimately very strange. Like all these little things that people could have done. And there's a long history of problems with that game and the way that like expansions came out and certain things were dealt with in any long time service game. But yeah, no, that just game never kind of came together the way it should have. It's a bummer because it has a lot of really cool ideas.
At a glance, I'm looking here, and it seems like by being on Steam and, of course, being in that interface, it will have like controller support possibility. You'd have to, do your custom layout for it.
It's not the same, and you know that.
And admittedly, they do have shared layouts that are community layouts, which I have used before for certain games that are like, oh, here's a popular thing binding that people are using that works for a game that otherwise wouldn't. Yeah. But yeah.
We did a sponsored video for that a million years ago for the launch. And it's a good game, but it's got problems.
I'm seeing weird. A lot of people comparing it to PSO2.
Yeah. Did a sponsored stream for PSO2, New Genesis. And that game's great. Nothing bad to say about it. Excellent product. You can go check out the VOD I put out a long time ago about how excellent that product is.
All right. You can write in and tell us how you feel about PSO2 or Guild Wars by sending a letter to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
I would love to actually read emails people send in about Guild Wars. No joke.
All right. We got one coming in from Adam. Says, Dear Lord Beast Zupa, watching Nathan Fielder's newest program, The Rehearsal, feels wrong in a way that I feel is new to the human race. Nathan Fielder's Behelit. It feels as if Nathan is a cosmic malevolent force tugging at the strings of reality to ruin the lives of so many. There's something uncanny about the entire class of actors in one shot, then cutting to the same bunch of actors playing the role of the other class. It's the same feeling of things disappearing out of the corner of your eye, or maybe how you'd feel about people in your life when they're being replaced by doubles. If I can describe this emotion, it's a line being crossed forever for the human race. I think Nathan has created something horrible, proving this behavior is possible. Have either of you felt this witness Have you, either of you witnessed his bold new steps into a darker future?
I
So,
haven't seen the Nathan's new stuff. I did see Nathan for You, and Nathan for You was cringe manifest.
so I had this doesn't describe what the show is at fucking all, mind you.
Yeah,
So
I don't know what it is.
I
So.
had heard about the rehearsal. I saw it referenced online once or twice, and people were always referencing it alongside massive, deep discomfort. And I was like, okay, well, I've certainly heard about the Nathan for You stuff. You've mentioned it before. So what is this? So it seems like The Rehearsal is a new show that he's been working on for the last 5 years, where instead of trying to give people fake, stupid business advice to save like their businesses, he's instead creating a perfect replication of the friends and family of people in a perfect replicated building with a perfect replicated scenario that allows people to practice rehearsing for a big moment in life or conversation that they're going to have, and essentially gives them the option to save state their way into an outcome they desire, and then they go and they film the actual interaction.
The rehearsal features Nathan Fielder helping ordinary people rehearse difficult conversations or life events through the use of sets and actors hired to recreate real situations. They can be trivial, like confessing to a lie about educational history, or more complex, like raising a child. Fielder commissions extravagant sets with every detail recreated. He hires actors to inhabit these sets and practice different dialogue trees with his clients dozens of times. Information used to train the actors and build the sets is often collected without the subject's knowledge. And that last little piece is the part where I can imagine it just completely falls apart, where somebody reacts to something they said. It's like, well, you did this. And like, how did you know about that? How did you...
So, yeah, again, I haven't seen it, but it's a lot of weird stomach feelings that people are having about it. And it seems that it's like, it's because the end result of all of this rehearsing is to then run your save state gamified version of events in real life and see if all of those practiced rehearsals will allow you to have the right, and it's just like, okay, so like you're also kind of teaching people, I guess, to prep an emotional lie, for whatever's about I don't know. We have to watch it and see, I suppose. But that sounds kind of fucking insane, and I haven't seen Nathan for You, so what the fuck is this guy?
Like, oh, you haven't seen Nathan for You?
I haven't. Like,
you know what? For Nathan for You, you wanna take a look at Nathan for You. What you want to do is you want to go and look at I think it was the finale stunt, in which he wanted to do a Houdini style escape from handcuffs. He wanted to prove that he could do it under a certain time limit, and the time pressure that he added to learning how to escape from handcuffs was the claw of shame, which was he commissioned a robot that would undo his pants and pull his pants down in front of an audience of children that he was performing. And he had a cop on set ready to arrest him for indecent exposure at the children.
Should he fail
to get the cuffs off in time, and the claw of shame would attack his pants. Okay. That's Nathan for You. That's Nathan Fielder.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. That establishes that.
So it's like a lot of people have done escaping handcuffs in various situations, but I'm going to go for the most dangerous situation, in which if I do not unhandcuff myself quickly enough, I will become a sex offender.
Oh. Okay.
And it's like, you're watching it and you're like, it's obviously doctored and faked to some degree. Many of the situations are, but what's interesting is I can't see the crack. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
like the
mm-hmm,
kids,
mm-hmm.
are there. They are
Mhm.
inhabiting the same space.
Where does
And
the
the cop.
bit start?
So, like, is there like a sheet they're
Mhm.
green screening out? Like, I just
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Nathan Fielder is the guy in the back of the Reddit meme of like of the party, like they don't know that I am this.
Right.
That's Nathan
Cuz
Fielder.
cuz this second one sounds much more Sacha Baron Cohen, you know.
Yeah.
Um
Second one sounds
but
like a nightmare.
you well that yeah, again, I would have to see, but like it's eliciting reactions from people, so
Like,
all
and
right.
I haven't seen rehearsal, but I can tell you about Nathan for You. They have the little, the Diddy reality show music in the setup and the
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
But the part of the style, and you would know this better than almost anybody because I know how much you love real cringe, is there's quiet, but I'm talking there's Hollywood quiet, right? There's produced quiet in a scene, and then there's room hiss quiet, right?
Mhm.
Nathan Fielder's entire programming lifestyle lives one step above room hiss quiet. So chatting in dead silence, like like soundless backdrop, like not overproduced. The microphones are just good enough that you don't get room hiss, but you're hearing chairs, like just
That but
vicious, awkward. Just
yeah, that it's used as a tool. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It hurts. It hurts
Okay.
you.
All right. Well, now I want to know. All right. Let's see. There's one coming in from Greg who says,
What you
"Dear
put in this?
Misters Fighting
Stronger than I
Games,
thought.
do you stick to default classic color schemes for characters? Pat mentioned that Kimberly has the classic Guy orange yellow, and it got me thinking. When I played Guy in Street Fighter 4, I would always use a non-default palette, but anytime there's a Guy reference like Hiryu in Marvel 3 or Strider, Zeku, so on, I would pick that since it's repping Guy's real color scheme, home away from home. Probably going to use the orange yellow for Kimberly, but I was thinking about how whenever I pick Ryu, it's got to be the classic. Same with the original World Warriors. What do you gravitate towards when picking colors?
I mean, it depends. I tend to gravitate towards darker colors. I really like purple and like a dark wine red.
I gravitate towards whatever is the one that I like. In some cases, if it is the default, then I'm not really gonna change it. That doesn't happen too often though. But there,
Like Ryu, as an example, I like the dark gray with the yellow headband a lot.
Mm-hmm. Makoto, the default is great, but the equally but like also sick is the default, which has a brighter gi and a red scarf instead of the yellow one. I like that. I like that one a lot as well. You know, it's kind of Ryu-esque in its reference, so I'm like, yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, in a lot of cases, I kind of just like, there's one that'll stand out as like what I think is the nicest.
I mean, I tend
Um,
to go like purple or red. If like King of Fighters and DBZ are really good about it,
yeah,
where the colors are pretty unified, so it's very easy to be like, I want fucking red team, or I want blue team, or I want orange team, or what have you.
I like 10 times out of 10 in KOF I want the default colors. Like I feel like I love the defaults in KOF way more than the variants most of the time.
That's because KOF is styling.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like
Somebody in
that
the
would
chat
be.
asks, "Do I even know what color purple is?" I don't know. At home viewers watching the VOD, I don't know what purple is.
Mm,
That drink was way stronger than I thought it was.
yeah. Um.
uh,
Yeah, the whole the whole this whole palette thing. I just I don't know. That's what I've heard my entire life, man. I don't know what to say. If there's some other way
hey
that people
man,
say that
don't
word,
worry. No one's
I don't.
woolly, woolly,
I
woolly.
haven't
Listen,
heard.
my
That's
friend,
not. Yeah.
woolly. No one's gonna bug you about color palettes anymore. You have upgraded to map anthropomorphism.
Well, here we go. Here's one coming in from yeah, I guess from Elena says Pokemon players can't pronounce French. Dear Carl Barber. Not sure. Okay. There's a character in Pokemon called Lysandre.
Yeah.
Now, please give the chat a minute to get mad at Wooly for pronouncing it wrong.
That's great. You mean Lysandre?
Now, please give the chat.
Great.
Now, please give the chat a minute to get mad at Wooly for pronouncing it wrong, even though he probably said it correctly. So, Lysandre.
Yeah,
is the main antagonist of Pokemon X and Y, set in the French-based region. There's Poke Eiffel Tower and everything. Now, obviously,
in X and Y, it is in France. Like, it is absolutely appropriate to be Lysandre.
Now, obviously, Lysandre is a actual French name with an actual correct pronunciation, but unfortunately, games do not have voice acting, and Lysandre has a different name in Japanese, so most people pronounce it Lie-Sander, as in to tell a lie, and sanding. This goes for people who worked on the English dub of the Pokemon anime as well, meaning the only official Pokemon media to say his name out loud says it this way, and it's how most fans have been saying it. Now, Lysandre is also an actual name. It's the Greek equivalent of Lysandre, both sharing the same root. It's also spelled Lysander with an ER, not an RE, because of that, because they're different names with different spellings and pronunciations from two different languages. They're not interchangeable, right? The spelling is different. This is literally the equivalent of a character named Michelle, but everyone calls them Michael, including the official translators. This has frustrated me for years on end, and I hope it frustrates you too.
Try fucking Wooly. How many Michelles did you know that were men spelled Michel, and Michelles that you knew that were girls that were Michelle with no pronunciation difference?
Of course, yes. Just this week I met a Gabrielle, which is like, and it's like, do you prefer Gabrielle or Gabriel? Like, it's up to the person ultimately how they want to pronounce it. But the weird shit about that is that, when the individual, because again, think of all the anyone with a Cajun name that's pronounced in the American way instead of the French way, even though it's a French origin name. If that's what they have been calling themselves as a family name, then it's what the person wants it to be, right? But when it's a fictional character and it's coming from a place that, as he said, is like, it's actually France, and then it actually has the RE and etc. It's fucked, man. It's fucked. There's nothing you can do.
Well, I mean, that's how you end up with stuff like Altria.
Yeah, sure. It's supposed to be this, but if the creator says it's not, shut up.
Yeah.
But in this particular case,
fucking the 15, 20 year long fight over Aerith versus Eris.
Yeah. But like, I guess I'm trying to, because I'm like, what's the version of this where the language being switched into is one that the audience actually can speak, therefore they can see why it's weird? Because right now, because you don't speak French, you're like, oh, well, no, Lysander is easier to say, so it's less weird.
I've got one.
But what's the one where it's the one you speak, so you don't fight? So
the most famous one of all.
Mm-hmm.
Good old carrot, vegetable, broccoli, Piccolo, etc. Dragon Ball being made by a Japanese guy and using like fucking English vegetable fucking names for every character.
Mm-hmm.
And just bouncing right off. Like, what? The guy's name is fucking broccoli?
Bloomers.
Why?
Not Bulma.
Freezer.
Okay.
Radishes.
No, but for this to work, it has to do this thing with Lysandre where like the setting and the name are picked as a deliberate thing from this place that is in this case French, but because of translation shenanigans, it ends up being not the actual thing it was picked to be.
That's slightly tougher. Like,
I mean, Vargas Balgus is a kind of a thing that pops up from time to time.
Pretty fucking bad. That's pretty
where
bad.
You're like, no, English speakers, it's supposed to be Balgas. That's an annoying one. But yeah, I think you guys can understand and get the part where it's like there's an Eiffel Tower in this Pokemon setting, like it's that French, and they went with the French spelling on it.
Poke France.
And so,
God, I just said the word France, and I'm tip of your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember.
Oh, Shimon.
Persona 5.
Okay.
Persona 5, where characters can't even say their own last names correctly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, totally. Kamatami and all that. Yes. Shimon. Shimon is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Because it feels weird to anybody who understands that the word Simon is a name that is expected and was probably intended, and it became Shimon as a result of the original language voice acting, and then now if you call it Shimon, you're copying an incorrect pronunciation of the name that was originally Simon.
Very likely. No, it was Shimon the whole time, just like it was Gatsu, you asshole.
Yeah. So that's probably the closest equivalent, if anything. And
Gatsu and my Griffisu.
Fight to the death on that one. Yeah. Anyway. I mean, but like things have multiple like pronunciations to begin with anyway, and like proper things do. I mean, Montreal and Montreal are the same place. It just depends on like what you.
Oh, do you remember that old? God, do you remember that old commercial? I think it was for a phone company,
mm-hmm.
and it was a guy down at like some Texan warehouse had to call Montreal in order to fucking get some kind of work thing done. And he loads up the phone, goes, bonjour Montreal.
Oh yeah.
And then like a lady just responds to him in English and goes, oh hey, how can I help you? And he's like, oh thank God. That commercial is actually like darkly hilarious now, come to think of it. Yeah, those were the good old days, huh? All right.
Yeah. I see someone going Montreal the fuck. So yeah, no, here people from here, like if you're saying it in French, you say Montreal, you don't say Montreal. It just
why would you say, like
Mount Royal?
People in Germany don't call it Germany; they call it Deutschland because in German it's Deutschland.
In Japan, it's Nippon or Nihon, and if you're feeling patriotic. Anyway, Alan B, what's up? Says, hey Wooly, Belprise, and Pataccio. I've been playing. Yeah, I'm missing it, but
that's mid. That's kind of mid.
I know. Anyway, they're trying. Having played 20 minutes of Holocure now, being sorely disappointed, I think I've zeroed in largely on why a large number of Vampire Survivor clones fail to meet the original. When Pat nailed it in the I want to turn my brain off, this doesn't let me do that comment, if we ignore that and consider that what people want is a more active experience, most clones fail. It's because they're less complex even than the low-effort Vampire Survivors. Take Holocure. On its face, it promises every character plays differently. By the end of a stage mode run, you've played every character exactly the same as you would have any other. Melee characters and range characters don't have enough significant changes to their playstyle to make you not play the game the same way, which is strafing and circling and shooting the enemy wave. Not letting each character use other characters' weapons results in each character collectively having about 6 generic weapons and items, a number of small combined collab weapons available every run, which means you're using the same weapons and items per run, every run. They don't make up for the lack of ability to take your hands off the keyboard while having a more involved gameplay mechanic or features you can use. The resulting lack of depth creates an experience which is less deep than Vampire Survivors.
This is a scrub quote.
And I can guarantee. Yet it still demands your full attention, putting it about on the level of a mediocre mid-aughts Newground game. I can guarantee that there will be some people who go, "Oh, well, if you roll the gacha and upgrade Kiara this many times, and if I have to play a game for 50 hours to buy enough upgrades to make the game what it promised on its face, it's still a lie because the vast majority of my experience was what I had to do to get to that point." So the best things the Vampire Survivor clones can do is either completely lean into what Vampire Survivors is doing, or and only expect 2% brain power, or break away and make it entirely Enter the Gungeon clone.
Okay, so 1, this is scrub shit. 2, the game is a free fan game. Complaining about what the game pretends to be on its face is strange when it comes from a fucking personal guy's website and goes, "Hey, here's my free game." And 3, I have actually found the best Vampire Survivors clone, and it is a necromancy-based Vampire Survivors clone called Bone Razor Minions, in which you, instead of having abilities that shoot out, you get bones and make little skeletons that fight for you.
I haven't played any of the clones, but it sounds from at a glance like, wouldn't all those problems just be solved by like the game being out for longer and getting more content?
Yeah, it's a free game made by one guy who's receiving no payment.
Okay. All right.
And also, it has a crazy amount of content under those conditions. Oh.
Well, anyway, that'll do. So, say suck say. And
right.
I'll be, like I said, I'll be getting a session in of Dead Space this week.
You're gonna be prepping your React Andy.
My React Andy arc. I mean, honest, like if any, might as well just go get the list that me and Reggie made of stuff we wanted to do anyway, and
start with that. Why not?
Just roll that out. And be sure to subscribe to Wooly versus the Algorithm, available now.